understand. But you also want to give a wide open receiver a shot. Like, you want to give it a chance. And I still think Sean Payton is kind of sticking up for his young QB. If that is Russell Wilson who missed those passes, I think that answer is a lot different. Just the truth. But man, if you got guys wide open and you miss, it's a big thing. I mean, those are game changers. When you have the opportunity to have a 50, 60-yard bomb in this league and you had multiple chances that you missed on and you lost the game last week in pretty brutal fashion, it's not hard to kind of point out, if this happens, then you win. So again, I think that he's going to stick up for his young guy. But at the end of the day, those are killers. Because you just don't get opportunities like that. Like the fact that they had that many guys running wide open. You show me how many times that happens in an NFL game. It's not often. Man, you look at the game last night, and this has happened now twice, where there's been a primetime game, and the first thing I kind of think about is, both times have featured the Ravens, by the way. You look at the ways that these offenses kind of like operate, and you go, man, we're a ways away from that. I'll tell you what really stuck out last night is it was pretty incredible to watch Detroit go into Baltimore and physically handle the Ravens. But here's what's interesting about it. They didn't do it right away. Detroit initially had Ravens defensive linemen in the backfield virtually every play. I think their first handful of runs was like 10 for 12 yards. And they stuck with it to the point they ran the ball 38 times yesterday. Because they just stuck with continuing to pound the football. And then in the second half, it really eased up the Baltimore defense, and that's when Detroit started to pull away. I mean, the Ravens had a 21-14 lead after the first drive of the second half. But continuing to run the football over and over and over again, it took its toll. And I just wonder if Sean Payton can do that. And I don't know how many teams in the league are going to run the ball 38 times and throw it 28. It's a pretty wild split. And Detroit's kind of like built themselves on this physical, in-your-face nature. But it's just about sticking with it. You know, out of all those runs, they had 224 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs had 22 carries for 67 yards. They didn't stop giving him the football just because it wasn't working. And they're passing the ball fine. But this is about, it's just kind of a mentality. We do this, and we're going to continue to do this, and it's going to break you down over the course of 4 quarters. And God, I'd love to see the Broncos give that a try, especially with a guy like Dobbins. I'd really like to see it. But there just seems to be, like, even in the game last week, that's a close football game in which you were either barely behind or had a lead for most of the second half. And you came away with your running game. You know, it's listed here that they had between Dobbins and Harvey 13 carries. It was actually 12 because one of those Dobbins carries was the throw to him that just happened to go backwards that they're counting as a run. It's just, can you stick with it? Because let's be totally clear here. Bo Nix is not ready to put the game on his shoulders and throw the ball 35 times. You aren't built for that. You could very well be built to run the football better, though. But, I mean, I think you guys are with me on this. It's the second time I've watched the Ravens in a primetime game. Ironically, they're both losses for them. But the game between them and the Bills in week 1, and now this game against Detroit last night, you're watching two incredibly high-level offenses operate. You're watching two quarterbacks who are both very different from each other, but incredibly effective in what they do. And still, both of those teams said, as good as my quarterbacks are, running the football is probably the wiser choice. Both of them. Now, super talented running backs too, and Derrick Henry and Gibbs and Montgomery and all those guys that were out there, not to mention Lamar can run the football. Like, it's a different thing. But I'll tell you this much. Those quarterbacks, when a throw was presented to them, they did not miss. Those quarterbacks, when a throw wasn't presented to them, they made it work. Both of them. And you just see sort of the separation between where you're at and where the elites are at. And without getting to that level, it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to reach the heights that you want to reach. Just really, really hard. So 303-504-0925, Shop Mazda text line. One price, one person, 1 hour.
By the way, how'd you like seeing the Lions go back into their trick play bag a couple times? Even though Ben Johnson has taken his talents to go lose in Chicago, they had that. What was it? It was a 4th and goal, I think, from the 2-yard line or something.
And they ran the little
but Goff
speed option.
Goff flips it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then he flips it to the running back. Boom, touchdown on like a 4th and goal from the 2 or something. I was going, there you go. I think Ben Johnson left a few scraps floating around the locker room.
Well, I still got people from my time in Michigan that I talked to about Detroit. And the one thing that I was told after that was when everybody's making a big deal of Ben Johnson leaving, and look, it is a big deal. He's a really good play caller. But he said, I don't think people realize how involved in the offense Dan Campbell was. And I think Dan Campbell is partly responsible for a lot of the trick play stuff that you've seen. Obviously, he's the guy that's deciding to go for it on 4th down every time. But I knew that aspect of the offense wouldn't totally dissipate. Because they had a double pass in there in the middle of the game, too, where it was swing pass to Montgomery. He throws it back to Jared Goff. He throws it downfield to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, they have some of those trick plays in the bag, I think, every week. But what was the bread and butter? How did Baltimore lose? They were physically dominated up front on really both ends of the football. Lamar Jackson was sacked 7 times in that game last night. How often does that happen to him? The answer is never. That's a career high. But it's just you commit to run the football, and you have to stick through it through the bad. I still remember when Legwald joined us. It was sometime in the offseason, right before the season started. He was talking about just the willingness to stay with the running game. And he said what's really funny about these Sean Payton offenses is that if they have a couple of runs that go nowhere, 2 runs for a no gain, they're like, well, that's not working. We got to bail. But they will have 5 straight passing plays that end up in an incompletion, sack, and interception. And they're like, well, we'll be fine. And they'll stick to it. But I'd love to see the splits from early in that game of Detroit and how they were running the football, because it wasn't getting anywhere. But continuing to stick with it will wear even a really good defense down. And I just wish they would stick to it. Texter says, Denver media is hilarious. Expecting Knicks to be Lamar, Herbert, Allen type in year 2. Josh Allen wasn't who he is until year 3. Lamar isn't who he is until year 3. You guys make me laugh with your horrendous takes. I don't know. Nelly, I don't do a great job of listening to my own show because I'm speaking during it. I don't think I ever said that Nix needs to be that. I've been talking about running the football to help him. That's it.
No, you're doing the radio thing now.
I mean, I've been pretty clear about this too. Here's what Nix needs to do. Hit an open wide receiver. That's not being Lamar. That's not being Justin Herbert. That is wide open man downfield on a deep play that could fundamentally change the game. Can you do that? Again, ideally, what the Broncos should be. Dude, and it's funny. I mentioned this after, again, going back to that Bills and Ravens game in week 1. It was a 41-40 game. And the way that those two teams arrived to that result were entirely different. They had Josh Allen throwing for 400 yards and like 40 passing attempts. The Ravens got the 40 points by throwing the ball 19 times and running the snot out of it. And if you go back and listen, what I said after that game was the Broncos offense is, I'm not saying they would be them, but stylistically, they're better suited to run an offense the way the Ravens do it, but it feels like Sean Payton wants them to be Buffalo. And I think that's the wrong move. You need to be able to run the football for Bo Nix right now. He's not good enough to carry a team on his shoulders. He's just not. Maybe he does eventually get there. I have no idea. But what's clear for this moment is if you can't hit wide open guys downfield, then we got a problem. And you need to supplement that with some other stuff. So again, 303-504-0925. We'll get back to sort of the situation that you find yourself in the AFC West, how big that loss was in the big picture. Because it is going to be a hell of an uphill climb for anybody within this division to go chase the Chargers now for the lead. They're 3-0 and have a 2-game lead on everybody in the division with wins over each team in the division. So we'll get to that in a little bit. More audio from Sean Payton as well. But coming up next, we got college football stock up, stock down, and a few sort of movers and shakers in the college football landscape. There seems to be one team that is head and shoulders, no doubt about it, the class of the Big 12. And that came as a result from yesterday. So we'll get to that in just a second. Broadcasting from the Backus and Shanker Studios, serious lawyers for the seriously injured. College football stock up, stock down. Coming your way next. All right, it's another edition of College Football Stock Up, Stock Down. We do it every week following the college football weekend, and we always start with the quarterbacks. Nelly, stock up. Don't know if you guys heard of this kid. He's fun to watch. His name is Trinidad Chambliss. He's the quarterback of Ole Miss. He can run the football. He can throw the football. He's gotten starts this week and the last week. He got this win over Tulane. Tulane's a good team. Like, they're very, very difficult. He ran for over 100 yards. He threw for over 300, and I feel like he's just getting started. You know, he's a senior. He just hasn't had many opportunities, especially at the D1 level. It's his first year in D1. And so with that, kind of comes out of nowhere, jumps on the radar. It's just somebody to keep an eye on because he might be somebody that could elevate a football team like Ole Miss to a different level. They're 4-0 now this year to start the season. Have they been super challenged by really difficult teams yet? Not really, but they do have wins over Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tulane in 3 straight weeks, which I think is a pretty impressive resume. They face a real big test when they play against LSU this weekend. So number 13 team in the country, but this kid is a very, very fun watch. And he's kind of split time with Austin Simmons, who's a sophomore, but Simmons has turned the ball over a lot. And since they've gone to Chambliss, he's been someone that's just not going to give the team extra opportunities, take care of it, and make the right play. So a fun watch. Perhaps we could see somebody sort of rising up right in front of us. So he gets to stock up. Let's go quarterback stock down. Down, Nelly, down. There we go. I think now this is a little bit local flavor, but I think it's Fowler Nicolosi. It's been announced that Brousseau is going to start this weekend, that he lost his starting gig. It was, you can't say he didn't get plenty of opportunities because he did. He had a very, very, helter-skelter, roller coaster, what does Moser call it, porpoising sort of career, where there'd be, some really high highs, and then it would drop to really low lows. But if we're being honest about this, they looked better when they made the quarterback change in the middle of the game last week to UTSA. They should be 0-3 to start this year. Am I putting that all on the quarterback? No. But it's just there is some really critical mistakes that are made in times you absolutely cannot have them. And let's see if this provides a little bit of a spark for CSU moving forward in making this change, because there was a different level in which the offense operated the second that they put Brousseau in the game. Fowler Nicolosi gets the stock down. Let's go Big 12 team stock up. Yeah, I kind of talked about this one. Texas Tech and Utah. It's fun to see the different sort of versions of what the Big 12 is. Back in the 90s, it was a hit you in the mouth, super physical, good defense, run the football type of conference. And then it started to drift over into this Pac-12 sort of spread it out, 5 wide, throw the ball all over the yard, 500 passing yards at the end of the game sort of stuff. And now it's getting a little bit more towards the physical football style. And there is no better example than that Texas Tech-Utah game. And I thought Texas Tech would go on the road and beat Utah. They just have such a wide array of talent. And that game was close for a good portion of the beginning of that game. And then Baron Morton, the starting quarterback at Texas Tech, leaves. The fact that Texas Tech laid it on them in the fourth quarter with 24 points to win 34-10 with a backup quarterback shows how impressive that team is. Because you really look at it, Will Hammond goes in a very difficult situation filling in for Baron Morton and goes 13 of 16 for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. Incredibly difficult. And we all know how hard it is to match up with a team like Utah, because they are in your face, punch you in the mouth. That's the style of football they play. And Texas Tech was able to sort of weather the storm with a backup quarterback, and when the game mattered most, look like the more physical football team. All that oil money that's pouring into Texas Tech is money well spent because that is a very, very good and very, very effective football team that's now moved to 4-0, and this should push them, if not in the top 10, then right around the top 10. So Texas Tech, they get stock up. Big 12 team stock down. Man, I don't know what you do with this because you're in a really difficult situation. Some teams have found themselves in this spot in the past. Before all the other things that happened at Penn State, ignore the extra that was going on there and the extra awful that was going on there. At the end of Joe Paterno's run, Penn State wasn't very good anymore. But he's a legendary head coach, and you're faced with this, I don't want to fire the guy, but if he doesn't agree to step down, then what do we do? The same thing happened kind of towards the end in the Big 12 with Bill Snyder with Kansas State. It was, hey, you're the greatest coach that this school's ever going to have. You're one of the best coaches probably in the history of the sport, but it's just not working anymore. You're too old. You aren't adapting. I don't want to fire you. Can we come to an agreement? I think we're getting there, we are there with Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy's the best coach that Oklahoma State's ever had. Mike Gundy is a very, very lively personality who I think has been amazing for that school. It's not working anymore, and they need to come to some sort of agreement because you don't want to fire him, but at the same time, you can't just allow him to keep losing football games. Oklahoma State's terrible. They lost to Tulsa at home 19-12, and it's been now a few years of this. There has to be some sort of back channel talks going on and how to resolve that situation because you don't want to see a head coach of his magnitude get sort of bleep canned on a national stage. So I think that there's some sort of conversation that has to be coming because with how bad they were last year combined with now a 1-2 start in which, if you guys remember, Oklahoma's season looks like this. A 27-7 win over UT Martin, which whatever. A 69-3 loss to Oregon. Nice. And now a 19-12 loss to Tulsa. They have Baylor coming up this weekend. I don't think that one's going to go well, and I don't think that Baylor's that good. So I think that there's going to be some sort of conversation had at the end of this year in regards to Mike Gundy and what happens at Oklahoma State. Now, national team stock up. Man, I tell you, there was a lot of games that I was looking forward to this weekend. There was a lot of different matchups that I found really intriguing. I thought this would be one of them. But Illinois, who comes in as the higher-ranked team, who's going on the road to Indiana. Illinois is number 9. They're facing number 19, Indiana. Brett Bielema. Whole bunch of fun things to be excited about at Illinois. Indiana just mollywops them for 4 straight quarters. That's a 35-10 game at halftime, and then it was 28-0 in the second half for Indiana. They win 63-10. They overwhelmed Illinois. It was almost like the amount of talent that was on the field for them just completely obliterated any plans that Illinois had. And I know that this guy rubs people the wrong way sometimes, Kurt Cignetti, the coach of Indiana, because he says things like this.
Google me.
I win, Google me. He's very arrogant. But I tell you what, man, dude can coach. Everywhere that guy's been, his teams have been fantastic. And this is no different with Indiana. They got a quarterback that's really fun to watch that we're going to get to in a couple of more of these. But God, is Indiana fun. But I don't think there's any doubt that Indiana gets a giant, massive, gihugic stock up after this weekend. National team stock down. I don't want to be too harsh about this because they've had a rough go at it to start the season against really good teams. But it's Florida. after winning 55-0 against Long Island in week 1. They've played South Florida, LSU, and Miami. South Florida is a very, very good football team, as we've seen over the start of this year. They played at LSU, who is number 3 in the country, at Miami, who's number 4 in the country. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 1-3 to start the season. Do I think they're as bad as their record indicates? Probably not. But now they play against Texas this weekend. Or I'm sorry, this is they have the week off and then they're going to play against Texas. Then they go on the road and they play Texas A&M. It's not going to get any easier for them, and these losses are going to stack up in a hurry. I don't think this team's getting bowl eligible. So it's not so much the fact that the team is really bad. They haven't been dominated by anybody. They lost by 10 to LSU at LSU. Miami was 26-7. Game got away from them late. But again, that's at Miami. I could easily see another one of these like they play against Texas and the score is 28-17. And it's just like, you just aren't as good as the others that are facing up against you. But they have that repeatedly for the rest of their schedule. Just the ranked teams as of right now that are left. Texas A&M, that's 10 and number 9. They have Ole Miss, who's 13. They have Tennessee, who's 15. They have Florida State, who's number 8. They have Georgia, who's number 5. The only teams that they have left that are unranked are Mississippi State and Kentucky, and those are no cakewalks. So Florida is going to have a very, very difficult time just trying to get to a bowl game, it feels like, this year. So they get the stock down. Let's go Heisman stock up. Keep an eye on that transfer from Cal. Fernando Mendoza, junior quarterback, now at Indiana, was at Cal his first 2 years. His career high at Cal over the course of a season is 16 touchdowns. Through 4 weeks of this season, he has 12, and he had none in their opening game against Old Dominion. In week 2, he had 4 touchdowns. In week 3, he had 5. And you're just saying to yourself, okay, but they played Indiana State and Kennesaw State. He put up 5 on 21 of 23 throwing the football against number 9 Illinois. Kid has pretty insane talent. And I think it can continue for him. He's 2 away from a career high. He's got Iowa this weekend. We know how difficult Iowa is. This, to me, for him specifically, is the real test. If Indiana continues to win games and he can put up numbers against a defense like Iowa, it's a completely different thing that we're talking about now. Because Iowa doesn't allow anything for anybody. They don't allow their own quarterbacks to score, for crying out loud. If Mendoza can go in there and put up some real, tangible numbers, I don't think you have any choice but to look at him as a legitimate Heisman candidate if this team continues to win. Because they're just going out there every single week and putting up some insane numbers over and over and over again. So he gets a Heisman stock up. Let's go Heisman stock down. Again, this is a straight-up numbers game. The wins are still stacking, so he's going to still be in the conversation. But he's got to fight the stink of, I left a team where I didn't get the credit for the wins, and now I have to carry somebody. So Carson Beck continues to get dubs. They just won 26-7 over Florida. But again, this is a numbers game. To be a Heisman, winning gets you in the conversation. The numbers back up everything else. In the last 2 weeks against very good opponents in South Florida and Florida, he has 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. This last week against Florida, he was 17 of 30 for only 160 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now, argument could be he didn't have to, and that's totally fair. But you start to stack up numbers with some other guys that are going to be in the conversation surrounding him. That's where he starts to run into a little bit of trouble. He's got to get, like, the uptick in the box score, the impressive eye-popping stuff. That's still left for Carson Beck. I'm the first one to admit I was very skeptical on if he was going to work at Miami when this season started. I have been more than impressed with Carson Beck. He's got a lot better arm than I thought he had. And he's doing the thing where he's playing well and sort of carrying the team a lot in the fashion of not quite to a Cam Ward level, but like a Cam Ward level. So I give him credit. But he's playing the numbers game right now, and those have to take a jump if he wants to be in that conversation. Upset of the week.
Win more games, Cub Scout.
Couple different ways that you could go here. I think that Indiana, with how they won 63-10, has to be the one, though. It has to. When you win in that, it wasn't even a question from kickoff who was going to win the game. So 19-9, is that an upset? Kinda, but not really. But it's the way that they did it that was so impressive. So there you go. Another edition of college football. Stock up, stock down. To stay on the college thing for a second, because we didn't talk really at all about college, because Broncos dominated yesterday. But just while we're on the subject, the Buffs needed a convincing win, and they got one. I thought it was by far the best game that they've played so far this year. And Caden Salter looked like a guy that they hoped he would be. When Caden Salter first kind of started out the year, it felt like he was really trying to feel out situations as opposed to just go out and play. And in that game, he did a little bit of everything. He threw the ball incredibly well. He ran the ball at a super, super high level. But more than anything else, I thought the Buffs looked more impressive in categories where they had to, which was they needed to run the football better, and they did that. Now, a lot of that with the quarterback, don't really care. This is college football. If you want to do it that way, then go ahead and do it. They weren't elite at stopping the run. They still gave up some pop plays, but better, certainly, than they were earlier in the year. I just thought that everything from a sort of football basics standpoint, they did at a much higher level against Wyoming. Now, your argument could be, well, Wyoming's not that good, and I would tend to agree with you. They have a 3-game stretch now against BYU, TCU, and Iowa State where you're going to get a real look. Can this team get to a bowl game or not? You'll find out in a hurry because they got these coming up. Now, to the CSU part, I don't know what you do. They're going to make a quarterback change. That's the right call. Brousseau, the offense looked like it had more of a spark when he entered the game. So I think that's right. They are like teetering, and they have to be, on head coach, entire sort of game plan moving forward. What do we do? And I told you, I'm not out here, with a scythe looking to like cut anybody's heads off. But at some point, you have to acknowledge what I think is a reality, which is you're in year 4 of a head coach, and you're 1-2 to start the season, should likely be 0-3. You need to see results. And God, man, if they don't come against Washington State, who is absolutely atrocious, then where are they coming? This, again, is going to feel like a massive game that is a giant fork in the road. And yes, how could I forget to mention the Bison ran well before the game on Saturday. How dare I not mention the new Ralphie?
Dude, Ralphie 7, she's got some wheels, bro. She's looking good.
It was a good run. When my timeline was filled up after the CU game of, did you guys see Ralphie? And I'm like, yeah, but did you see Salter? I'm more concerned with the actual football than the animal.
Well, hey, Salter did about as much running as Ralphie did it a few times when the play broke down and he was doing his best scramble backwards 10 yards to scramble forwards 5. So, I mean, they both did their running in their own ways.
So we'll get back to college football a little bit later. I want to jump back to the Broncos and that answer from Sean Payton. If you guys missed it from earlier, I want you to hear this again because it's a nice little social experiment to see how guys react when asked about somebody else. It's like somebody asks you about somebody else's kid doing something versus asking about your own kid. You probably have a different answer or different response or different tone. Well, I certainly think that's the case with Sean Payton. We'll get to it next. Okay, so a lot to talk about today. Again, you just kind of have games that are, they always try and get a good game on primetime football, and you can hear all the primetime games right here on Altitude Sports Radio, including Monday Night Football and everything else. Next one we got coming up is Thursday night, Seahawks at Cardinals. But you get a game like last night where it's just two really high-level offenses, super talented teams, kind of like swinging back and forth. And it's the second time this happened to me where I was just like, yeah, you aren't that. I mean, the other one involved the Ravens playing against the Bills in week 1. And it just kind of gives you a standard and shows you how far away you are. But here's the thing. The final score of that game last night was 38-30. You lost in a game where it was 23-20. And you look at that 20 points, you're like, yuck. You look at 153 passing yards, you're like, yuck. And then you realize you left about 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on the table through 3 throws. So, naturally, Sean Payton, during his press conference yesterday, was asked about the deep ball. Here's what he said.
There's the 2 deep throws, the flea flicker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on a second. I think that's the... No, that is the right one. My bad. Continue.
There's the 2 deep throws, the flea flicker, and then the third down play. And I think you got to be careful you're not overcoaching a deep ball that's going off the fingertips. We've seen a couple in the last 2 weeks, and yet someone asked me about it yesterday, and I think that the more concerning problem would be is if we're leaving those balls inside where they're susceptible for an interception. So he's climbing the pocket. He's doing a great job. Both of those are third and long situations where there's, obviously a different type of pass rush, but that's not what's concerning to me this morning after the loss yesterday would be the deep ball misses. That wouldn't be what's on my mind.
I am concerned, and I do think that this is sort of you're sticking up for your kid sort of thing. Nelly, can I ask you a question real quick? If this was Russell Wilson who missed those throws 2 years ago, is his answer that?
Oh, if this was Russell Wilson, oh man, he would be getting obliterated.
Well, I just think that he would be a little bit more honest and be like, yeah, we can't miss those. Like his answer would be something along the lines of, as a veteran quarterback, you got to hit those throws. He'll be better. Like he'll couch it with something like, I trust him. He'll be better. But he would say like, you can't miss that. That's the ball game. It's very, very difficult for teams to give up big plays like that and win. There's 2 things that are really hard for teams to overcome. You witnessed the opposite end of that last night. One of them is big plays, 60, 70-yard touchdowns. It's to give up a score that quickly is just really hard. The other is incredibly long, sustained drives. That's what happened to Baltimore yesterday. Baltimore lost because they gave up 2 touchdown drives of 98 and 96 yards. One of them burned 11 minutes off the clock. That's incredibly hard to overcome. But you miss the deep shots, you're now like all of a sudden, you're taking points and momentum off the board. And I think the only reason that he's sort of like poo-pooing the idea of like, yeah, we missed him, but who really cares, is because he wants to stick up for his guy. He doesn't want to bash him in the media because he doesn't want him to lose confidence and all of that. There's a follow-up, by the way. Somebody else asked about the deep balls a couple of questions later. It sounded like this.
Yeah, Sean, you mentioned the concept of not obviously overcoaching on a deep ball here and there. I'm curious, does the conversation, any conversations with Bo, is it change, after kind of a game where you leave a couple of things on the table? Does that change in year 2 as opposed to year 1? Are you talking about any things kind of differently, or is it the same
Are we
as
talking
you
about
would?
the deep ball again? Meaning the conversations relative with the Q would not be those 2 deep balls on 3rd and like 23 or 3rd and 11. The conversation would be, throughout the game relative to plays we're getting in and out of, location throws, third down. I mean, but a lot's been made, I think, of the two long balls. And I'll be honest with you, and that again, driving in this morning, that'd be like 50th on my to-do list item.
There's no way. There's no way that's true. Oh, those 3 missed touchdowns? Yeah, I'm not concerned about those, please. I hope you are. Again, man, those are... It's
50th on my to-do list item.
I don't like when people do this because if a play like that happens, then the complexion of the game changes and the other team responds differently and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to say like, hey, if you hit one of those shots, then you win the game. The game would change after one of those is hit. But you hit 3, you hit 2, you win. That part of it's simple. Now, I have been concerned all year with the ability to finish, and this is a question that was asked to Sean Payton from DMac yesterday. Go ahead, Nelly. Sorry, I'll give you a second. Cut 6 down there on the sheet.
Sorry, playing anything that DMac had to say is 50th on my to-do
Yes,
list. My
of
bad.
course.
So let me get this queued up.
The point is, when you have, again, the chance to close a game out and you miss the opportunity, that is a winning team number. That is what winning teams do. You watched it last night. Detroit had the chance to close out a game against the Ravens, 4th and 2. They make the play. They followed up with a touchdown. Finish the game. Here's Sean Payton.
Coach, on that point, then big picture, philosophically, what do you think is the biggest difference between teams that you've been with that can finish and teams that do struggle to finish games?
Well, I don't think I can ever recall being with a team that always finished and didn't struggle to. In other words, that it's a journey here, and so. When the season's over with, let's look at this team and say, hey, can they finish? And we'll be able to point to week 2 and 3 we weren't able to, but I think of certain teams that I've been a part of or coached, and I think that the corrections and the improvement, any good team really, and even last year, we had a wild card playoff team. There's a stretch where you begin to win games, and you play better, and that's what's due for this team. That's what has to happen.
Yeah,
for this team.
they got to certainly do that. Now I understand that he's again. You're banking on things are changing in the future, and I think that it's good to have confidence in your team that you think it is going to change somewhere down the line. But you can't start stacking up a lot of these right now because that's going to bite you you made the wild card because you got hot last year, but you also played a handful of bad teams. I don't know how many bad teams are on the schedule this year. It's a lot of difficult ones. So you got to learn this in a hurry. We'll get back to this in just a little bit. You can watch us live on Twitch, twitch.tv, search Altitude SR on the search bar, the Altitude TV simulcast. It's the Safeway Twitch feed. Download Safeway's Deals and Delivery app. Get exclusive grocery offers. Safeway Fresh Foods, local flavors. You can also watch on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and don't miss anything from Denver's #1 sports station, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Moser, Lombardi, and Kane starts next.
there's the 2 deep throws, the flea flicker, and then the third down play. And I think you got to be careful you're not overcoaching a deep ball that's going off the fingertips. We've seen a couple in the last 2 weeks, and yet someone asked me about it yesterday, and I think that the more concerning problem would be is if we're leaving those balls inside where they're susceptible for an interception. So he's climbing the pocket. He's doing a great job. Both of those are 3rd and long situations where there's, obviously a different type of pass rush, but that's not what's concerning to me this morning after the loss yesterday would be the deep ball misses. That wouldn't be what's on my mind.
It still concerns me. I mean, there's a bigger answer, and I think what that answer is with Sean Payton is I'm sticking up for my guy. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Because if I ask you guys this, if Russell Wilson was still the quarterback and he missed those throws, does the answer sound different from Sean Payton right there?
No.
Does it sound different if that's Russell Wilson who missed those and not Bo Nix?
I'm trying to think in what sport. Like in basketball, if you're long on a shot, it's still long on a shot. It misses, right?
Yeah.
In golf, if you're long to the green, I mean, you may have pured the ball. Oh, it felt great, but you're 10 yards over the green. Who cares? It sucks. You have to chip back onto the green. So I don't understand the logic, I guess.
Well, there's another answer we'll get to in a little bit, but it's like, you can't tell me I am unconcerned with 3 missed touchdown opportunities like that. I don't buy it because I'm certainly concerned with it. And this happened again yesterday. Ironically, this has happened twice with me watching the Ravens play. The first time was week 1 against the Bills. The second time was the game last night. When you guys watched those offenses play against each other, weren't you like, that's not here?
That's a machine on both sides, just machines.
That's not here.
Yeah.
I will go ahead, Moj.
Well, I was out walking my dog the other day, and
good boy,
kind of pulling a little bit, and he got off his leash and got hit by a car. And I'm not concerned about really him getting hit by the car. Okay, I mean it's and the $1,000 vet bill. It's that, he was kind of pulling on his leash a little bit when he typically doesn't do that.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I don't want to overcoach him jumping off his leash and running into the street and getting hit by a Buick. I don't. I mean, look, I'm very hesitant to do that when he's laying in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm more concerned about him pulling on his harness a little bit more. I mean, dude, it's the difference in the game. And I get what he's saying. And he's protecting his young quarterback. I dig that. And listen, I tend to think, Vic, that these balls will be on the money in the future.
They will.
That you're very close to that. But let's not pretend that wasn't the difference.
Well, I mean, personally, I would spend the whole week throwing deep balls. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get on the practice field. We're just going to throw deep balls. But
by the way,
my dog did traffic.
My dog did not get hit. That was just a fake analogy.
Thanks. Your lovely dog Lucy. Lucy's fine.
Lucy's fine.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah,
right.
But I understand Coach's premise. I understand the fundamentals were. He felt he climbed the pocket and everything was fine. Nothing to see here. I get it, but it's not about that. It's about the result, and the result indicates the play didn't work. And if the play doesn't work, something about the play broke down. That something was there was too much air under the ball. That's all. That's it. That's it.
But you, in a game like that, I was kind of mentioned this a second ago, but when it comes to, people do this very easily, and I think it's a faulty way to look at things, but it's like, hey, if you hit one of those throws, you win the game. And it's like, well, if you hit that throw, the complexion of the game changes. The Chargers do things differently. It's not a guarantee. I'll tell you this, you hit 2 of them, the game's over. You hit 2.
Yep.
Melinda Sue on Twitch says he's a young quarterback. He's not a veteran. Can we stop comparing him to guys that also took a little time to adjust to the NFL and be what they are now? Melinda Sue, with all due respect, Coach Sanford said Sunday night after the game that if his Valor quarterbacks did that 3 times in a game, he would be livid.
Yeah.
Livid. You're a quarterback. This is what you do. This is what you dream of. This is what you practice. This is who you are, to throw the deep ball. This is, you live for that. And you missed 3 times, and you say he's a young quarterback? No, man, no. Listen, as long as you're going to listen to this show, and if you don't like it, I don't know what to say. No easy outs here. No easy outs. It's like somebody missing free throws. No easy out. Work on your free throws.
Melinda Sue.
And I hate to be that guy, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Melinda, you're off your rocker.
What are we talking about here? Why are we giving people a pass?
I don't know, Vic.
Because I love the guy. I
So
think
do
he's
I.
a great competitor. But even you don't think he went home that night? Did you see the video of him on the sideline?
Yeah.
Mouthing the words, I forgot what he said.
I left so much out there today.
Yes. Do you think he went home and said, God, I hope people give me the benefit of the doubt because I'm a young quarterback? Or do you think he went home and said, gosh, dang it.
Well, listen,
The hell, Mike?
there's something to, okay, he's a young quarterback. Like the play that Justin Herbert made on the touchdown to
He's
Kane
not
Allen.
a young quarterback.
Hang on. Well, he is. He's in his 3rd game in his second year.
This guy's played more football in his life than Gene
Mo,
Daniels
he has not played in the NFL. It's different, okay?
Fine.
He's not played in the NFL. That's the point. He's 3 games into his second year, okay? I will give him some grace.
Now,
Brett's gonna
I'm
get really
pissed off.
technical.
See, now I'm really pissed off.
Can you let me
No,
finish
I'm
this
pissed.
first? Let me finish
I'm
this
already
first.
pissed.
If you're telling me he can't make the throw that Herbert made on the touchdown to Kane Allen, rolling out across his body, did you guys see he threw the ball behind the ear of Benito?
Yes.
On the money, on a seed
Yes.
to a smothered receiver in
Yes.
coverage.
While
Right
running
the
to
perfect
his
spot.
left. While running to his left.
If you're telling me he can't do that yet or never will, I'd be like, you know what? That's a freak play from an elite level quarterback.
Agreed.
I get it.
He's
I'm
never going to
talking
be
about
that.
hitting wide open guys. That should be a given for anybody who's in the league. Your 3rd stringer should be able to step into a game, and if that play is drawn up the way that they were for Bo Nix, make the throw.
Tebow hit guys wide open in stride.
Yeah.
Okay, don't get freaky. No, you're both off your rockers today, man.
You want me to cue up the Tebow to Decker touchdown in Kansas City?
Listen here, Cub Scout. I know what happened against Kane. I know, okay?
Win more games,
Yeah.
Cub Scout.
Look, Bo Nix played 61 games in college, which is a lot.
I'm so tired of that.
He played
It's not the same thing.
that's 78 games plus that's 81 career games
Against
at a
UTEP.
high level.
Not against the Chargers.
Mother trucker was in the SEC and the mother trucker was in the Pac-12 Oregon played big guns.
How many
look.
guys on a Pac-12 roster make the NFL?
Your mom makes all
3?
the rosters. Yeah. What I'm saying to you is
Not nice.
That is not nice.
Mom could make a lot of rosters, but
he's almost 26 years old, bro. All right? He's not what Melinda Sue and everybody else. He's not a baby. Okay? Listen, is he still young in the NFL? Yeah. Are defensive coordinators gearing up to stop him and take away what he likes to do best? Yeah, they are. It's up to him to adjust, and I believe in him, and I believe that he will. But I'm not going to go, oh, he's so young. You're a starting quarterback in the National Football League. You've been given the keys to the car. Obviously, your coach, who's won a Super Bowl, thinks enough of you to do that. Perform like it. That's all there is to it.
Heavy is the crown.
And by the way, we got all over C.J. Stroud's butt last year when he regressed, and he's regressed even more. And you know what people are saying? Good God, what happened to C.J. Stroud? Well, that's the way it goes. This is what have you done for me lately type of stuff. I believe in the kid. I believe he's going to be totally fine. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think those passes will connect. Let's not pretend we didn't see what we saw Sunday in L.A.
what were the difference? There were a few passes that were deep in that game, that were deeper, I guess. The touchdown on 4th and 2 to Cortland Sutton, that was about a 30-yarder in the air?
Yeah.
What was
something
that?
like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Maybe even more.
But
The
you know what
pass-
he did on that throw? He threw a seed.
Yeah,
Like he
threw a lower
drove the ball.
Yeah. The throw last year to Mims
Was
against
another one.
Cincinnati.
He drove the ball.
What was that ball? Was that a rainbow?
No.
Okay, what was it?
It was
That
a seed.
Exactly. The 2 that he missed on in this game that were bad were rainbows.
Yeah.
They were Moser's favorite plays. Moser, What's the play that you think that the Raiders invented?
Teardrop.
You're not even, you see, because Carr's was not like, it wasn't 40, 50 yards down the field. It was more like a 20 yards straight up in the air. It doesn't even matter. You better shut up. You better watch yourself. Okay?
You better watch your mouth.
Better watch your mouth. No, what I'm getting at here, though, you know what I do like about this, though? Sean Payton has tried to go deep more in the first 3 games of this season than he has in 90% of the games from last year. I like the fact that he's telling his quarterback, yeah, hey, listen, if they're stacking the box or they're going to take away, your underneath stuff, take a shot downfield.
Yeah.
And when you start hitting those, you're going to loosen everything up. But they ain't hitting them right now. I guarantee you, well, look, they're going to kill Cincinnati on Monday. But everybody else is going to be watching that Chargers game. I know. No, I don't assume. I know. Everybody else is going to be watching that Chargers game film and say, look, man, if you let these guys get behind us, the kid's going to he's going to hit on some of those eventually, or maybe all of them. So watch out.
All right.
I mean, I think it plants a seed, and I'm good with that. I'm happy with that.
Let's stop everything. And I want to talk about a play that we witnessed last night, Monday Night Football. 4th and 1 from the 4.
It's 4th and 2. Oh, 4th and 1, sorry.
4th and 1 from the 4. Less than 1. And Detroit, a staggered backfield with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the backfield, just right behind Jared Goff, gets the handoff, goes right, and immediately pitches it to Jahmyr Gibbs. Is that who got it?
Yep.
Why did that play look so poetically beautiful? Why was I aroused by that play?
Because it tugs.
Was Lindsay Lohan at quarterback?
Oh God,
that's a setup.
Because it brought you back to college football days of speed options and stuff like that, which you just don't see anymore.
But with the running back, a receiver handling the pitch.
Let me tell you something. The Ravens bit hard. They pinched in. They bit hard. And here is Gibbs getting the pitch all the way to the pile. It was a beautifully designed,
did you see how
beautifully called play.
St. Brown pitched it. I went back and looked at it a couple times. It wasn't necessarily a read, because in the true option, you wait for the defensive end to commit. Whoever's on that side commit, then you pitch. There was no commitment.
But Vic, he froze them momentarily, which was all that Gibbs needed.
Exactly. It just took 1 second of confusion. That's all it took for Gibbs to turn the corner. And it was so beautiful. Oh, I miss option football. I love option football.
See, that's what it is. I told you, that's what it is.
Brett, I thought you raised a very good point in the appetizer, your little skit.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit Lions last night, Gabe, Brett, give me some of that. Come on, baby, yeah. They showed major cojones in a number of different ways. But, Vic, my favorite play of the night was actually the one that just, I guess, sort of sealed it, the Montgomery touchdown. He took this it wasn't really a delayed handoff, but he sort of pranced his way to the line of scrimmage, got a hole, and then, bam, he was gone. And the patience he showed on that run and the burst that he exploded with, I'm like, man, we ain't got that. We don't have that here. It was gorgeous to watch in Montgomery. He's a lot bigger than you think he is.
He's a ball.
And he's got a big head. Anyway, the point is that those guys, that Thunder and Lightning really works for them. We don't got that here. And I haven't seen a run like that. I see some downhill. I love that. And I love what Dobbins is already doing. But, man, it was really impressive. But that's how teams put teams away. They finish games and they win. And
I'll tell you this.
That's what good teams do. I need that.
When we come back, there was one thing from the game, really on both sides of the football, but especially with Detroit, that it's like, if I could Clockwork Orange Sean Payton's eyes and have him just watch something over and over again, it would be something Detroit did yesterday, because it's still missing within the Broncos offense and they need it badly. And we'll get to it in just a couple of minutes. Stick around.
I am full on ready. Oh my God, I am ready.
Yeah, Moser's ready to fight people today.
Hey Vic, I'm gonna get to it in about 15 minutes. You stand by.
I noticed something from that game.
Are you standing by? Stand by.
I'm sitting by. Is that
okay,
going to do?
sit by. Yes,
Okay.
please.
There's something about that game last night that I can't help but watch these primetime games and just make comparisons to like, what do they have that you don't have? What do you have these teams don't have? And blah, blah, blah. Now, very obviously.
What goodies do they possess that you don't?
Now, obviously, both of those teams, at least on offense, got a lot more goodies than you have.
Dude, can I run through the goodie list?
Just give me a second here.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you this. Detroit did something that the Broncos will never do, that they could. Did Detroit look like they were dominating that game early?
No.
They were down 21-14 after the first drive of the second half. And then they took over. Why?
They kept running the ball.
Despite not having early success at doing it, they kept pounding the ball. And that Baltimore defense softened up in a huge way late in that game. And that's what forced them to break through.
Vic.
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs on the day had 22 carries for 67 yards. Would a Broncos running back ever have that stat line?
Not a chance. Not a chance. They rushed for 224 yards.
Well, Montgomery was really good.
Stud.
But they just kept going at him. They're like, the Lions' offensive line was getting beaten bad early in that game. And over time, I think basically after that 18-play drive, 98-yard touchdown drive, that Baltimore defense was just worn out. They're like, I got nothing left.
Brett, I don't want to go all old guy on you. And I wish you weren't suckling at the teat. But Vic will back me up on this.
Not going to hold that against you, Brett.
We're not going to hold it against you that you were
just
you were
so
cheating
inexperienced.
Yeah. But at the time, dude, I can't even tell you how poetic and gorgeous it was to watch Terrell Davis and the Broncos in the second half of games punish defenses to where you had safeties, dude. They're like, F this.
They don't want to
I'm out. I mean,
the gap.
Dude, they don't want to fill the gap. And then TD, it was like a heat-seeking missile. Now, he would take his chunk 22, here, this and that. But he would punish guys. And as the game went on, that's what happened to Baltimore last night. They were punished. And by the end of those long drives, dude, they were dead.
Yeah.
That defense they couldn't get off the field, and they were dead.
But
and the Lions made them pay. It was a brilliant plan.
This is what I'm saying, though, is I know you don't have maybe Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery or Derrick Henry in the backfield. I know that. But J.K. Dobbins is pretty good.
Pretty good.
And if you keep feeding him the ball, you can wear out a defense in the same way Detroit did. And that was it was a commitment. That's all it was. Detroit could have easily been like, hey, running the ball's not working. We got to throw it. Jared Goff's having a good day through the air, blah, blah, blah. They could have done that. And they just kept going to the ground over and over and over again, and it softened up the defense. God, the Broncos could do that. They could. They really could. But it takes a commitment that is still not been seen since Sean Payton took over.
You don't like the bubble screen?
No, I can't stand that play.
If you want to, I'll tell you what, bubble screen. I'm on a desert island.
They'll tell you that's the same as a run.
That's great.
It ain't.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
But it's about...
I'm on a desert island. I've got a solar-powered television with satellite. And it's just me. And I'm watching football, and all you do is put bubble screens on a loop.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm finding the sharpest seashell I can. Wrists slit, walking into the shallows and say, Sharks!
Yeah.
Come get me, baby.
Are you guys, and this is no fault of his own because he hasn't had much room to do much, are you guys underwhelmed so far with R.J. Harvey?
He's just a pup, though, dude. He wasn't going to be the number one.
That's why I say that, and I say that with, I'm not trying to paint him like he's Steve Harvey with the ball, but he hasn't had much of an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like he's been unimpressive. I just haven't seen him. Like, he's really just not gotten a huge crack. What did he have, 2 carries?
Well, what game did he have that big run down the left side?
It's the first one.
Yeah.
But that was like, I think he's had 6 carries, 5 carries, and 2 in this last game. Like, he just feels like there's just not a lot of opportunity. Again, I mean, this is insane to see in today's day and age. Detroit's splits were 38 runs to 28 passes, which that's crazy. You don't need to do that. But it's like you have to be given opportunities here. Like, that's what's funny. J.K. Dobbins' numbers in that last game were great, but he had 11 carries, which was actually 10 because one of them was just a throw that was backwards, right? That was the one that he took for a touchdown.
Correct.
There's still a lack of commitment to it. And here's what's weird. When Bo is very obviously struggling, like when he's missing deep throws like he was on Sunday, and the option is, well, let's let his right arm carry us to a win. It's like, but what if he just doesn't have that? What if he doesn't have it yet? Why not give him some help? Let somebody else take the load off for a second.
Question for both of you guys. And if I'm Sean Payton, I want to encourage my young quarterback. I say young. He's got experience. I want to encourage my second-year quarterback as much as possible. I want to put him in good positions, and I feel like I have been. He's just a tick-off right now. Like I said yesterday, remember, it just feels like the Broncos' offense is just a little off time right now, just a little bit, right? Like the drummer's like a half beat ahead of the guitar kind of thing. When Cale Makar turns the puck over in the neutral zone in overtime and somebody takes it in, Deeks, and scores to win in OT, Jared Bednar's not going to come out in the postgame and go, you know what? Good God, he's got to be better there. Because he's Cale Makar, right? Because he's the best on the planet.
Yeah.
I get that. Well, Bo Nix isn't there yet. I mean, I don't want Peyton to come on out and I'm not talking about throwing his kid under the bus or anything like that, but acknowledge what we know. You got to be better. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with saying, you know what? Just like we've said, Vic, I love this kid. I believe in this kid. That kid is going to make those throws this week and next week. I'm confident that he will. Or am I overreacting to that right now?
Can I give you guys the second?
Because maybe I am.
There's a second question that was asked to him about the missed deep balls that he gets a little Sean Payton-y about. I want you guys to hear this.
Yeah, Sean, you mentioned the concept of not obviously overcoaching on a deep ball here and there. I'm curious, does the conversation, any conversations with Bo, is it change, after kind of a game where you leave a couple of things on the table? Does that change in year two as opposed to year one? Are you talking about any things kind of differently or is it the same?
Are we talking about the deep ball again? Meaning the conversations relative with the Q would not be those two deep balls on 3rd and 23 or 3rd and 11. The conversation would be, throughout the game relative to plays we're getting in and out of, location throws, 3rd down. I mean, a lot's been made, I think, of the two long balls, and I'll be honest with you, and that again, driving in this morning, that'd be like 50th on my to-do list item.
So that last part of the answer, Moj, to use your comparison, if Cale Makar turns the puck over in the neutral zone in overtime and it leads to a loss, Bednar can say something along the lines of, look, I'm not worried about it. He's Cale Makar. He's going to be fine. But if asked, is that something you can't do? I don't think he would say, yeah, that turnover in the neutral zone that lost us the game is 50th on my list of things I'm concerned about. Well, I mean, it's probably near the top.
Well, it's just not true, because if one of those deep balls hits, they win the game.
Yeah.
And it's a different tone.
But in more than that, it's, I guess this is a more overarching sort of take on the Broncos offense. But if I ask you guys, the Broncos offense, are they capable of going 15 play drives for touchdowns very often?
I don't see. That's the part of. Here's the equation. In watching that game last night, and this is where the Broncos differ. Both of those teams made it look really easy.
Yeah.
Moving the ball, matriculating the ball. That's a term you hear all the time.
Picking up first down, sustained drives.
The ball. The Denver Broncos have a matriculation problem. And it's been that way for 2 years. And I'll give you case in point. You ready for this?
You know what? Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic can help with that.
Early down success. 1st and 2nd down. How good is your offense on 1st and 2nd down so that you don't leave yourself a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 13, an impossible 3rd down to convert? According to Warren Sharp, where do you think the Denver Broncos rank first and second down percentage, success, where do you think they rank?
Is success, define success again? What does that mean?
Success is 3 yards or more.
Okay. I mean, that's not good.
Last in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Number 1 is the Indianapolis Colts. And is there any doubt why the Indianapolis Colts have only punted one time? Their early down success, according to these stats, 51.5% early down success puts you in good position for third downs. The Denver Broncos, 32.4. That is 20% differential on first and second down.
That's crazy.
If you don't give yourself an opportunity on those early downs, you're going to be screwed on third down every single time.
Yeah, but
it's early in the series where they suffer most. You know, watching that game again, how many times early in the game they would try to run the ball, and they'd lose 2 yards.
Yeah, Vic, I just said that. I said if you don't want to have a 2-13 afternoon on third down, clean up your first and second downs. Give yourself an opportunity.
Yeah.
If you had told me before the season, Vic, I'm looking right at your face. If you had told me before the season, through 3 weeks of football, which one do you think is more likely to happen? Bryce Young has 1,000 yards passing, or the Colts will punt one time?
Neither.
I think I would. But if I had to pick one, I think it would be like, oh, Bryce Young 1,000 yards. I mean, maybe what they're doing is crazy. But if you watch what they do, I don't think it's anything. And Daniel Jones, by the way, let me give him credit. He is incredibly humble about all this. I would like to see that here. They execute properly. That's it. They just play good, solid, smart football.
Let me get back to...
Let's do that. Let's do that. What's wrong with that?
Let me get back to the beginning of this, though, and this is why I think the missed deep balls are a big deal, and it's way bigger than Sean Payton is giving it credit for, which, again, I think he's just sticking up for his dude, but whatever. In the game last night between the Lions and Ravens, there were 5 drives of 10 players or more. 4 of them between the two teams resulted in touchdowns. The Lions had an 11-play drive for a touchdown, an 18-play drive for a touchdown. The Ravens had an 11-play drive for a touchdown. The Ravens had a 10-play drive for a field goal. In all of these different things that happen, do you see the Broncos being a team that is capable of going 11, 12-play drives for a score? Because I looked them all up this year. They've had 5 drives that have gone of 10 plays or more. 1 has resulted in a touchdown because they aren't good enough to continue to stack good play after good play after good play, which means you want to score, you got to hit the shots. And when you're missing the shots, you're missing your opportunities for touchdowns.
Explosives.
Yes.
You know, Vic,
They're
explosives.
Yes.
They're like reliant on that because they aren't good enough right now to stack a 12-play touchdown drive together.
I think in Sean Payton's ideal world, gentlemen, his ideal world, everything that he said yesterday about the deep balls is 100% correct. In his ideal world, with his offense operating the way that he envisions it to, the way he's calling it, the way that he wants it to. But in the reality of where we are right now with this offense, if you ain't hitting them biggins, you ain't getting nothing.
Well, and let's translate this another way, Moj. How do you get 10-plus play touchdown drives? What do you have to do?
Well, I'm going to give you an example.
You have to run the ball. Like both of these teams, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, they ran the football for a ton of those. That 18-play drive from Detroit last night. Let me just count this up. There had to be, what, Moj, 13, 14 runs in that drive? Like they threw it.
There were in that drive. Ready for this, Vic? I'm going to predict it right now, Brett.
Yeah.
In my recollection, this is my brain thinking. I'm not looking at anything. I believe out of the 18 plays, 14 were runs. Help me.
Just are it, man. 5 passes.
5 passes and 13 runs.
13.
What do you think has been
Louise?
What do you think has been the best looking drive of the season for the Broncos? Now, I would take the opening drive against Indy, where they just, boom, dashed it right down the field, scored a touchdown. It was their opening possession, 6 plays, 64 yards. Now, that one doesn't qualify as a 10-play drive. I'll give you one that does, though, because in the second quarter of that game against Indy, they scored a touchdown to go up 21-13. 10 plays, 50 yards. Here's how it went. First play, 1st and 10. Great field position, by the way, at the 50. 1st and 10. An 11-yard run to Troy Franklin. Was that a reverse? What was that? I don't remember the run.
It was that jet sweep.
Okay. 11 yards, run. Next play, a 3-yard pass. Next play, a 1-yard run. Next play, 3rd and 6, 6-yard pass. Next play, 3-yard pass. Then an incompletion, then a penalty, then a run, 4 yards, a penalty, incompletion, a penalty, -1. There were 3 penalties in which they benefited on this drive.
Yeah.
And a 2-yard touchdown pass. Even that, to go 50 yards, my goodness, it takes the hand of God.
Hey, speaking of that game, the missed field goal,
which only emphasizes like you need to hit the explosive play. Then, if you can't sustain the drive, that stuff matters.
I know we're comparing
It's how you
them.
score.
I know we're comparing them against two of the best in the league, but go back to last night. The 10-play drive, the 11-play drive, the 18-play drive. How many yards did those chew up for both teams? Go back to your little box score and let me know.
Say it again, Moser.
Last night, the long drives, the 10-play drive, the 18-play drive, 11-play drive, both teams.
Yeah.
How many yards are we talking about in these drives? One of them was 98, 99.
11-play, 67-yard touchdown drive.
Keep going.
18-play, 98 yards.
Keep going.
11 plays, 73.
Okay. When you go back to that missed field goal against the Colts, 10-play drive, took 5:18 off the clock. They got 41 yards.
Man.
You know what I mean? 10 plays. I mean, it just shows you that everything is just, you can't run. You're trying to run. Actually, they tried to run. If I remember right on that particular series, they tried to run. A little hibby here, a little bit there, a little bit. And you pass, and you lose a yard.
It's so true, though, Moj. Like, give me the drive in which they went 11 plays for 80 yards, and it was just like every single time they're picking up 6. Here's 7 yards. Here's 4. Here's 8. Here's not. Like, it doesn't happen for them that way. They aren't precise enough, consistent enough, or good enough right now to do that. So you get the pop play, you got to hit the pop play. You can't miss it.
Pop, pop.
I mean, it's true. Pop, pop.
Can I say that?
Man.
Yeah.
It is the definition of what you are, and that's what's interesting about, Moser keeps making references to the late 90s Broncos team, but that was a long series team. They had long series of just chipping away at you, chipping away, and then hit you over the top. But that's what they did. They lived and died by that. They sustained drives. They sustained possession. This is not that team. It's not. It's all right, I'm going to jab, but I'm going to look for that haymaker. I'm going to look for it real fast.
Yeah.
Before we take a little break, can I say it?
I don't, sure.
Vic, are you sitting there? Sitting at attention? Yeah. I am so ready. I'm already getting fired up. I am so ready to spank some Euro butt. I am ready to just pull down their little shorts and spank their tails.
Huh?
I'm talking about the Ryder Cup, Jack. I am getting pumped. How many syllables is pumped?
7.
Pumped. I'm getting pumped. It's 1. I'm getting pumped, dude. The kind of jawing going on right now, the Rorys and the DeChambeaus and the Chambleys against the USA and what I mean,
Chambly is just
he's sort of insufferable at times. Are you getting fired up for this, Vic? Are you getting fired?
I'm not quite there yet. I gotta wait for Friday.
Yeah, call me.
actually like that.
He's like, I'm out.
Can listen to us anywhere on the Altitude Sports Radio app. It is powered by the Will Height Law Firm. Injure lawyers, go to willheightwins.com.
Aren't you
That's
pumped up?
willheightwins.com. Yes, I am pumped up. We
don't
didn't talk
seem
about
pumped
college
up.
football yesterday much, so I want to get to that. The win in Boulder and the loss in Fort Collins. Next.
My guess is most guys can't even say the 2 words erectile dysfunction. And it's probably not pleasant for you if you're dealing with it, right? Are you struggling with it? Tough to fulfill things, enjoy those moments and whatnot? Listen, man, get yourself back in business at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic because their treatments work when the pills or the herbals fail. It's 2025. Don't deal with ED. Get it taken care of. If you had another body part that you were dealing with, you'd probably get that taken care of right away, wouldn't you? Their success rates are well over 90%. They've served the Front Range in Colorado for nearly a decade. Successfully treated tens of thousands of men. So schedule a consult today. They've got Fort Collins all the way down to Colorado Springs covered for you, including Castle Rock. I'm telling you right now, it's been revamped, redone. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the experts there will take care of you. Go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com and find out exactly what they do. They handle all of it. And don't worry about those pills or herbals. Get rid of that stuff. Let them show you how you can be back to being you. You and your partner will probably really, really be happy. The number to call, 720-440-7900. That's 720-440-7900. Or again, go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
All right, didn't do a lot of college football yesterday, so let's dive into it. CU gets the win. Moj, did you say yesterday you weren't very impressed with CU?
I think it should have been more. Let me tell you what CU's done. And all you buff honks out there, you're probably starting to come around to my side just a little bit, but let me explain. They haven't done anything at all that they weren't supposed to do through 4 weeks. In fact, I would argue to you they've done less than they're supposed to do. That's my opinion on the matter.
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think people wanted 2-2 4 weeks in.
Well, no. Yeah, you're right about that. But I'm just saying the win over Delaware, it was – look, maybe the Georgia Tech loss, we'll look back on it at the end and say, good God, Georgia Tech, man, they were killer in the ACC, and they're in the national playoff, and maybe it won't look so bad.
I agree. They're undefeated right now, and they're ranked.
Yeah, and that quarterback, the Haynes King kid is no joke, and he ran all over the Buffs.
Mm-hmm.
But the Delaware game, even though it was 31-7, it didn't look like that.
That is true.
The Houston game,
that was a disaster.
The two like opponents that you've played, I would argue that Georgia Tech and Houston are like you.
Yes.
The two like opponents you've played, you've lost. And the second one was a disaster in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, the Cougs ain't that good. That's my opinion. And then the Wyoming win, well, yeah, you should beat Wyoming 37-20.
You know
and
what?
And all you Cowboys fans don't get mad at me, but we all know that that's the case. Let's get into the Big 12 play here. You got three ranked teams in the next 3 weeks. Three. You've got two at home. Can you be 2-1 after that? If you're 2-1 after that, I'll be highly impressed.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Moser. I don't disagree with anything that you've said. But perhaps what I have done is scaled back my barometer for CU.
Well, you're the one who's been talking about why can't we set standards at CU?
Well, I think there should be, but at some point I'm trying to acknowledge a reality, and the reality of this feels like they just aren't that good right now.
I got time
today.
I said that before the week.
Yes.
I said that before the season opener.
You were earlier than I was to that party, Vic, because I'm trying to think like year 3 of a head coach, you should, like a bowl game, to me, shouldn't be the standard for success. It should be higher than that. But now if they get to a bowl game, I think I'd be surprised.
Well, that's a setup.
Again, I struggle to understand your logic there. What makes you think that a team that lost a Heisman Trophy winner and a record-setting quarterback is suddenly at a platform where they can pick and choose bowl? I mean, what are you talking about?
Why?
What are you talking about?
Why should I
What
think?
makes you think that they're at that level where they can, we'll take this bowl game? Because they just got to get to a bowl game.
I see. This is where you and me. I will die on this hill. You have a coach making the money that Dion is making in the worst of all of the Power 4 conferences. Winning 6 games should not be a standard. That should not be a standard for that football team. It should be more than that. I'm not saying they go on and they win 11 games, but it has to be higher. Or else, what is the standard there? See, I keep asking that to everybody, and nobody gives me an answer to this.
Well,
when I tell you it needs to be better than a bowl game alone is not good enough for what this team should be with a $10 million head coach. That's my statement, my thesis.
Okay.
If you disagree, tell me what it should be then.
But if you are readjusting your perception and your expectations,
I'm only adjusting it because they're bad.
Okay, well then
it's like is 1 and 2? Is Oklahoma State right now good enough?
No,
are they good enough?
Absolutely not.
Under Mike Gundy?
No.
But do you think Oklahoma State's any better than what they are right now? They're terrible.
No, I don't think so. No,
but they should be better under Mike Gundy. Correct?
Agreed.
But you're measuring
that's
a guy.
what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, I just don't think he's had enough time in the program post Shador.
Dude, what's one of those crappy products on TV?
Man, I'm going to tell you this right now. Dion was the one who said this, not me. We aren't better at the top, but we're better top to bottom. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. Does that look better top to bottom? Or does that look like you just removed Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter from the team last year and this is what they look like?
I guess let me tell you where I'm at with this, Brett.
That's where I'm disappointed. That's where I'm saying that's not good enough.
Okay, I buy into that. But right now, if you get to the Slap Chop Bowl, ShamWow Bowl, I mean...
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they make a bowl
If you get to the Ronco Air Fryer Bowl... I'll be happy with that.
You'll take any bowl.
I'll take any bowl. I'll get weed.
Now.
Listen, weed eaters.
Now.
Think of the crappiest
They'll smoke
bowls.
any bowl.
Yes, I'll smoke any bowl right now. I'm completely with Vic. I want anything.
But you get what I'm saying?
Because when I look at that schedule, I don't see bowl eligible on the schedule, bro. I don't see it.
Okay, how about this? What if Payton Salter now explodes, and the version of him that we saw last week is the version that you get the entire year, and he turns into like one of the best quarterbacks in the conference and one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Okay. And then he leaves again. Are we saying next year, well, God, man, you miss Payton Salter now. I hope you get to a bowl game.
No.
So what is it? Again, answer my question. You guys haven't answered it yet.
The expectation should be, this is where I'm going to agree with you, The expectation should be that you replace him with a light kind of guy, or Juju is ready to take over and become that guy at the age of 18 or whatever. I mean, whatever. Yeah, that should be the expectation. I'm telling you that's not the reality. This is where you and I got into a fight last week, or at least a discussion about it.
Was it a fist fight?
No. It was just a discussion about expectation and want versus reality.
I asked Moj 20 times, what should the expectation be? And you kept telling me the reasons why CU isn't good. And I'm like, I don't care about that. What should it be?
I'm just telling you what the reality is, Brett. And you don't want to deal with reality. Look, this weekend you're at home against number 25 BYU. The Cougars have just knocked their way into the top 25. If Caden Salter does that against BYU this weekend, I'm in. You go to TCU the following week. If he does that against the Frogs down there, fine. Iowa State's coming to town, and they ain't no joke. If you do that against a top 15 team, and you can run the ball that way and throw the ball that way, then you know what? Then I am bought in.
What
but I don't
do you consider success?
1 and 2 out of that mess.
No, overall.
What
this year?
This year? Game.
In general.
This year?
Dion's not this year.
No. You can't just generalize. I'm going to go this year because they lost the bulk of what they do. They reinvented themselves as a team, and he hasn't been there long enough to fortify the stables.
3 years is almost a full cycle.
Okay, I'm just telling you, going into this season, if you looked at the Buffs roster and said, oh yeah, when you lost Hunter and Shedeur, what are you looking at? Are you blind?
All right, I'm gonna say this again. What is Dion's greatest asset as a coach?
Recruiting.
What is he paid $10 million to do? Where is it? It's 3 years worth of finding players. Where is it? That's my problem. If that's the bill of goods that I'm sold,
they're not going to be as good as you hope this year.
Well,
end.
And that's obvious. No, that's obvious.
Yeah.
I've accepted that. But what I'm saying is that shouldn't be good enough. And a texter says this. He goes, Brett just proved his own point wrong with Mike Gundy. Incorrect. Because you know what? If I'm Oklahoma State, I'm going up to Mike Gundy and having to put dad in a home situation.
Sure.
Like, that's the talk I'm having here. Because I'm like, this ain't good enough. I appreciate everything you've done here. But what you did last year, were they 2-10, Oklahoma State? And now they're losing to Tulsa to start the year 1-2 at home. I'm having a conversation with Gundy about.
Would you have fired Mike Norvell last year? Florida State's Mike Norvell?
1 year's different. 1 year's different.
But why? I mean, he came off a previous season where they were undefeated going into the bowl season.
Do you not think that Florida?
Why? Why didn't you fire him?
Hang on, Vic. Do you not think that Florida State was having some discussions about that last year?
Well, they're 3-0 right now, and
Understood.
They're ranked number 8 in the country.
Understood. Do you not think they had some discussions about that last year?
Every team has discussions. In year 3 of Bill McCartney's reign at CU, there was talk of firing Bill McCartney. Go back and look up his record year 3. What happened after that?
But just pause for a second. I'm not saying to fire Dion. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about what should the standard be. Now, I will also say this.
You're comparing Deion Sanders year 3 with Mike Gundy year 87.
I'm not comparing that.
Yeah, you are. You made the comparison. Yeah,
you are. Brought up when I said about Mike Gundy. He said that I'm disproving my own point when I'm not. The point is this. When you go to Norvell, by the way, having a 13-0 season the year prior to that makes it a little bit easier to stomach a really awful year the year afterwards.
Brett, I think we are on two different tracks right now. The expectation, people like Mark answer the question, the expectation at CU should be 9-10 wins and competing for a Big 12.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it should be. Now, I think maybe next year and the year after that, that's the real expectation. Right now, when you lose those two guys and you're still portaling it out, trying to figure things out, I agree. Year 3, you should be making headway. Agreed. Even if you lose studs. Okay, but they're not. But Brett, hold on, don't jump in. They're not there yet. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. Now, you and I were also discussing like CSU. And I said in the Mountain West, all you're going to do, every team is going to porpoise up and down all the time. That's the reality there. You can have expectations, but you better pour money into the program, and you better do that if you want to live up to those expectations. At CU, with the money they're paying Coach Prime, the kind of bread rolling in for the entire university, including out-of-state students who are paying through the nose to be Buffaloes, Yeah, man, you should win 9, 10 games, compete for the Big 12 every year.
Hey, what's next on your rundown there?
We can get back to the Broncos if you want to or not. I mean, what do you want to do?
No, because I got, for the first time in 5 months, after a 5-month hibernation, Michael Malone speaks about the ending in Denver. And we have to hear it. He spoke publicly for the first time. We have to hear it.
I didn't like it either.
What? Okay, we're going to debate this.
Oh, God.
What?
You're such
Wait, you're supposed
so
to like
defensive all the time. You know what? You're so defensive of people. Let the hate flow, bro.
For what?
I said so. That's for what?
Oh, my God. I can't wait to get into this one.
You know what?
Stick around for this one. These
Malone,
morons just make up stuff now. Now we're just making up. Hate what? Hate whom?
Mellow
for what?
and Malone.
No, the
they
answer.
are my boys.
I don't.
Mellow and Malone.
It's
They're
not
my
the person.
toys.
We'll get to the audio next. It's a lot of name calling going on the text line there, Marshall. A lot of name calling for everybody. People calling you guys names, calling me names. Call me names. It's rude. Turn on Vic's mic there, Nelly. What'd you say, Vic?
It's that kind of show.
It's just name calling.
We are an abrasive show. Would you label us as abrasive?
Not at all. I think we're as fuzzy as a newborn duck.
Before we move on.
Well, that's not even right. Ducks get hatched.
One more thing.
Ducks get hatched. That's my bad. Fuzzy as a newborn kitten. How about that?
Can I just say one more thing about this college stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is why I'm way off.
College football!
Why does it feel like around here people are so much more willing to accept a lower bar
because
when
the
it
teams
comes
have
to
sucked
college?
for a long time. That's why.
I get it.
You see, no, you don't get it. You don't get the level of suckitude, bro. You don't get it, dude.
No, I know where you're coming from.
No,
I know you have
I
certain
see your. I look at your
standards.
face. I look at your face.
Hang on. No. Stop for a second.
What?
They did. They've been bad. I'm well aware, fully understand. But this was a changing of the guard moment. You get Dion in here, then you give him a $10 million extension. You're doing that because things are supposed to be different. And look, they are different than what they were beforehand. I fully acknowledge that. And I'm not, as these are already coming in, as they always do, I do not hate Dion. I think Dion is great for that program and great for Boulder. Okay? I know. But when I say, hey, man, maybe like 8-4 and competing for the Big 12 at the end of, November.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a super high bar that I'm asking for.
I get it.
And if I can just make one comparison, I know the difficulties surrounding losing really good players, and it was very unique that you had Shedeur and Travis Hunter last year. Utah reloads every year, guys. You can be Utah with Deion Sanders. You can do that.
Listen, I get it. I watch Utah play, and I say to myself, how on earth are they always a successful program
Always.
in this conference, and the Buffs cannot be? That's embarrassing. Ever since they went, remember when they both moved to the Pac, Utah carried the freight. Utah was the better program. And I wonder, how is that possible? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whittingham is that good of a coach? I guess so. But this is
Well, they also had
different.
Cam
This is
Rising
rare.
for what, a
this
decade?
Is unique.
How long did
because
Cam Rising play there?
I think
time.
it also tells the story that maybe there was too much of an investment made in those first 2 years with his kids playing. And now the drop-off is here.
Well, it's to give him a little grace on this. It is the first time he's ever coached without his son playing quarterback. The first time ever. So, whatever. We can move on.
Yes, because if you're doing this in years 4 and 5, we can have a conversation. Yes, we can have a conversation, and a conversation will be had.
That's what Moser was yelling at me about CSU last week, too.
Before,
when I was telling him, like, hey, Norvell's in year 4. They can't lose to UTSA. And there you go. Anyway, go ahead.
Before we move on to the next topic, I do need to ask Moser, what the hell are you wearing? Are you taking fall photos? Did you take homecoming photos? Are you going leaf peeping today? Are you outfitted in your fall attire already? What is that?
I think, all right.
Is it a corduroy sweater? Is it burlap? What's it made out of? Do you have shoulder pads in there?
Moshe, I think you look nice. I don't know what
So
he's
do
doing
I.
to you.
I'm not.
I've got it's a long sleeve Nike golf shirt. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Over camera, it looks like you're taking the family in to do fall photos.
Can I tell you something? It's a small thing, but it's one of my favorite things in this show. When you say something that's insulting to Moser, that is just like out of nowhere, and Moser gives me a look, as if like you just pulled your pants down and started shaking on camera. He's just going, what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
No.
And this is
kinda
my
like that
annual
little
warning.
twirl you gave us, Moj.
I don't go to the mountains much. I spend most of my time here in civilization. But if you're that person who uses the fall, if you go up there, park your car, walk out of your car, and just start looking around, that's a problem.
All right.
Stop looking around.
So yesterday on Sirius XM NBA Radio, Frank Isola.
I didn't even get my best part of the CU win. Should I
We'll get
save
back-
it for
we'll get
later?
back to it. Yeah, we'll
okay.
get back to it.
The best part of the CU win, I will get to it.
Sirius XM NBA Radio. This is Michael Malone, who is now a full-time employee of ESPN, as he will be on that the NBA countdown crew. Said this regarding what it's like to not be a head coach right now.
In my heart, Frank, I'm a coach. I'm the son of a coach. It's definitely something I'd love to get back in. I still have a bad taste in my mouth with how things ended in Denver, and I'd love to go out on my own terms. With that being said, what I've learned over my many years in this league is how important it is to go to work every day with people you care about, you trust, you respect, and that are all pulling in the same direction. So when I have a chance to go back into the NBA, I just want to make sure I'm working with a group of people that are like-minded and share a common vision and are willing to do whatever it takes to make that vision become a reality. And if that situation pops up, I would love to get back on that sideline. I'm a competitor. I'm a teacher, and I am a coach first and foremost. TV star second.
Oh, my gosh. So ghastly what he said, huh, Moser? Oh, I can't wait for Moser to just rile him up after. He spoke the truth there. There is nothing Michael Malone said there that wasn't 100% true. Both things can be true. You can respect the hell out of a coach who is your winningest coach of all time, who gave your franchise its only NBA championship. The dude was a hell of a coach. And you can also say, yeah, there's a lot of things he did to set up his departure that were his own doing. But there's nothing wrong with those comments. Before the break, you said what? You said what about Coach Malone?
Who?
No, I just said
Moser.
No matter what happens, though, you always come to the defense of former Nuggets. No matter who no matter who it is. That's all I was making.
But
that
what did
point.
he say there that's inflammatory, that's wrong?
Nothing. But Vic, let me expand.
No, hold on. But you were really emotional about this before we went to break. What is it that he said that was wrong? Do you still hold a chip on your shoulder for Michael Malone?
No, I like Michael Malone, but he had a lot to do with his own departure. Okay, all this, I want to go in with like-minded people. Well, that's great. I think we all do. Okay, we all want to go in with like-minded people on the same page. You know, he had a lot to do with the friction between himself and Booth and his own
100%.
his own demise in his own situation. That's all I'm saying. And I think that he recognizes that. That's great. The little quip at the end, kind of cute. I'm a TV star second. I think that's cute. I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with Michael Malone. I'm just saying to myself, dude, you were part of the problem, which is why they both went, okay?
I'm kind of with Moj on this too. Like, look, the answer didn't bother me because he's right. You have to surround. What did we talk about over and over again when all of this kind of went down and people got let go? Him and Booth. It was you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. Everybody pulling in the same direction. He's absolutely right.
He didn't hire Calvin Booth.
No, but
he
you know
did not.
Hey,
he
but,
did not.
But what I'm telling you, Vic, is the Denver Nuggets feel the same damn way.
Sure.
Well, the Denver Nuggets feel the exact same damn way, which is why he's gone.
Everybody's at fault here.
Okay. Hang on, though. I haven't really heard Malone, and this is where it's just a little nit I'm picking. Hasn't been a lot of personal responsibility on that part. Like, yes, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. If he acknowledged that I could have handled things a lot better than I did too, like, Vic, it kind of comes down, look, we don't know this for sure, but it certainly felt this way, that he was doing some things with the lineup out of spite. Things that were detrimental to the team because he was trying to prove a point to Calvin Booth, which is insane.
Yes.
Insane. Like, I'm not playing Zeke at the 4 because I didn't want Zeke, like that sort of stuff.
That was a stick it in your stick hole. That's what that was.
It's like you cost the team because you were having a personal beef.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, all I'm saying, I'm not coming to the defense of anybody here. They're all wrong. They're all wrong, including the franchise itself.
Yes.
Even Josh Kroenke admitted as much.
Sure. He let it go way too far. Yeah.
He told me personally. He said, this is my fault as much as anybody's. I let it go too long. I should have pulled the trigger earlier. This is everybody's fault.
Yeah.
But remember something. Michael Malone did not hire the GM and everybody else. And if he didn't get along with him and someone says, you better get along with him, and you can't, that's not your fault either. Moser, did you get along with everybody around you?
Everybody.
Should have heard what he said about you during the break. What are you guys in a staring contest? A radio show? What are you guys doing?
My point is, everything is destined to fail at some point. You cannot take that relationship. You cannot take that. Clearly, there were two different philosophies at work at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And someone was going to lose. At the end of the day, they both lost. How do you know that Michael Malone wasn't going to management and ownership and saying this ain't going to work? How do you know he hasn't been doing that for 2 years?
Maybe he was, and maybe Calvin was as well.
Exactly.
I
They
truly
were both
don't know.
doing it.
Yeah, maybe. The smart thing to do for the Denver Nuggets was to say, all right, enough of both of this. Okay, great. And hopefully the new powers that be get the Nuggets to where we think they can be, and that's right there. I hope that all works out. And listen, I want to see him coach again. I think he needs to be in the NBA. I would love to see that. That's
all I'm saying is,
again, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, sure. Overall, it's just that I'm with Brett. I would just like to see a little culpability. I'm sure he's learned an awful lot from this experience, which hence his comments. Great.
Moser,
move on.
Moser, if Jared Bednar gets fired, do you think he'll be chapped about it?
Well, absolutely. I think anybody who gets fired gets chapped about stuff.
So what the hell is, for all of you who think, oh, well, this guy hasn't spoken publicly about the Denver Nuggets in 6 months. And he just said, I hate the way it ended.
My butt. He spoke about him on that little TV show that he was doing.
What are you talking about?
He was on the Countdown Crew during the playoffs.
Yeah, but he never spoke publicly about his job.
City has the best fans in the league.
That pissed me off too, Vic. Don't you dare. That pissed me off too.
Yeah, he said
Don't
something
act like
about
it didn't.
SGA's proving why he's the MVP. Come on.
Come on.
Oklahoma City, best fans in the league.
Moser,
my ass.
Moser, I'm going to get really personal with you here. Do you feel any sense of bitterness with your ex-employers, Moser?
Not at all.
None? Oh, really? Huh.
Vic, I've talked.
Brett,
I've had long conversations.
Shut up for a second. Shut up for a second. Brett, do you think Moser feels any sense of bitterness with his ex-employers?
Oh, I worked at Walgreens when I was 16. I'm still pissed at him.
Okay. Do you think it's okay? Do you think that's a human emotion no matter what happens?
Of course,
yes. To feel bitter?
Yes.
Well, then shut up and let him be bitter. There's nothing wrong with that.
But what Brett doesn't do, he doesn't go, you know what? We worked at where?
Walgreens.
Yeah, he doesn't go. But he doesn't
go.
go.
The discounts as a 16-year-old there. Ooh.
He also doesn't go on the other TV show and go, you know what? CVS is so kick-ass. Let me tell you, CVS is the friggin' MVP.
And by the way, bitter about losing your job.
And the customers at CVS kick the living hell out of Walgreens.
Here's the thing, though, Vic, and this is let me just stick with the Walgreens analogy for a second. There was a room in the back of Walgreens in their little storage area. Had a trash compactor. Me and my buddy, who were both 16, would decide, hey, on top of the trash compactor, nobody can see you. Maybe I can take a little nap while I'm on the clock.
God.
Wait, you slept on a trash compactor?
Yes. It was right next to a heater, too, in the winter. It was awesome. If they fired me because I was sleeping on the trash compactor and they saw it, I wouldn't have this total bleep these guys, they suck, it's all their fault. I'd be like, you know what? I did take naps on the job, and part of that's on me. I just haven't heard Malone quite do that thing yet of, hey, maybe I could have handled some things a little bit differently too. That's all I'm saying. It's just like one of those if he tossed it out there. Like it would be perfect, but I haven't heard it yet. That's all.
What do you need to hear?
I want him to say something like, hey, I got to surround myself with people who are like-minded. He said that, right?
Yeah.
And I got to do a better job of handling things personally when I have disagreements.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to hear.
You're exactly right. He's not in that, I guess I'm looking at this from a human standpoint. He's not in that point the finger at himself stage yet.
That's all
Not
I'm saying.
many people are. When I look at my former employer, I'm not willing to point the finger at myself. I'm not. I think they did wrong.
Why would I? I'm perfect.
Well, Moser, you pointing the finger at yourself with your former employer?
Hell no.
Okay. So we're all in agreement there. So we're asking this guy to do something we're incapable of doing. You know what that is? That's stupid.
Hey, Vic, one cool thing, though. One cool thing before we get the little break ski. Yeah. See the comments of Ben Wallace?
Yeah, about Carmelo? Said he wouldn't want him on the team.
Yeah. He says, you know what? He says, thank God we drafted Darko, because if we drafted Melo, he would have screwed everything up.
Hey, can I say one thing about Ben Wallace real quick?
Yes. By the way, Ben Wallace is a scary dude.
If Ben Wallace told me 2 + 2 is 5, you know what I'd tell him?
100%, sir.
Whatever you
Yep.
say, sir.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I thought it wrong my entire life. You're so right about that.
Didn't you always want Ben Wallace on your team? Oh, my God.
I was just going to say, Michael Malone, you can't be looking for a whole bunch of yes men around you. You have to be able to disagree. But if I'm working for Ben Wallace, I'm a yes man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whatever
100%.
you say.
Oh, but he was right, though. He said, look, man,
Hey.
Darko accepted his role. He wasn't going to take anybody's spot in the rotation. He's like, look, man, Melo would have come in. Tayshaun would have been out.
I'm reading something else.
Okay.
Travis writes in, let's not get it twisted. Jokic gave us the title. Malone just happened to be there.
No, that's not fair.
Travis, that's a moronic thing to say. Beyond moronic. Beyond.
I got a moron joke. You want to hear it later?
No. I hold on. That is, when you hear stuff like that, in hindsight, were you saying that the night that they won it all? I'm just curious. Were you saying that the week of the parade? Was that your take, your hot take then?
No, Malone's a good coach. It's very obvious he's a
Brett.
good coach.
A big moron and a little moron are sitting on a bridge. One of them falls off. Which one?
I don't know.
It was the big moron who fell off because the little moron was a little moron. You're welcome.
I wanted you to sit in that silence. Hey, Moj, 2 peanuts were walking down the street. One was assaulted.
Yeah. So was your mom.
What? The hell does that even mean?
I don't know. It doesn't mean anything.
Who is the
hey,
greatest? I've been around for every generation of Nuggets basketball. I've seen them all. You can nitpick about who the most effective coaches are, but I'm just talking success. Greatest coach in Nuggets history, name him.
Michael
It's
Malone.
Malone.
Second
yes.
greatest coach in Nuggets history, name him.
Doug Moe.
Third greatest coach in Nuggets history.
George Karl.
George Karl.
Fourth greatest coach in Nuggets history.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. You can debate that all you want. You can debate it. There's only one that's won a championship. Only
Brian
one.
Shaw. 303-504-0925. When we come back, something that I noticed from last night's game that applies directly to what the Broncos should be doing next.
People have found September 30th is the day you've got to get to Silterhar Motors in Broomfield because the 30th is when the federal tax credits end on electric vehicles. And right now they've got the largest selection of EVs in Colorado, and they're ready to go. They've got the awesome Ford Mustang Mach-E, the top-rated Ford F-150 Lightning, and many, many more. And right now, for the next 7 days, you got 0 interest for 72 months and lease credits up to $11,000 off. That is an absolute no-brainer, but you got to get there. Go see Greg Larson and his crew. They will take care of you. The best dealer you can find. Highway 36 in Wadsworth, in Broomfield, or go online at sthmotors.com. That's sthmotors.com. It's Silterhar. Everything you want out of a dealership.
So again, you watch a game like last night, and it just kind of gives you a perspective. Like your offense is not what those are in Detroit and in Baltimore. We knew that just from a talent perspective, but when it's on display like that, it's pretty crazy. We're talking about Bo Nix missing wide open guys downfield, and if you saw some of the passes Lamar put on guys, some of the passes Goff put on guys, like pinpoint accuracy, tight coverage, need to make a play, big third down, big fourth down. They're making every
But
throw.
they're also elite. I mean, Vic, these are elite quarterbacks. These are the creme de la creme. And again, let me go back to the NHL. You see Cale Makar dance a guy at the blue line and then find a guy for a backdoor tap-in or something. You're like, wow. Why can't our guy do that? Well, only very few guys in the world can do that. And again, Goff is on the money. That 4th down and 2, think of all of that, Vic, to put the game away. You pick up that, you're on your own side of the 50. It's 4th down and 2, and you go for it, only up by 7, and you nail it. I mean, he stepped back, and he let it fly and found Amon-Ra St. Brown for the first down, and it was over. I mean, that's high-end stuff.
So 2 things, just real quick. Number 1, speaking of that play, Moj. So it's a 4th and 2. You're at midfield. You're up 7 points against Baltimore. Do you guys think that Sean Payton goes for that, or does he punt?
I think he probably punts because he believes in his defense. You're not facing an elite. Well, I don't know who the offense is on the other side, but I think that Dan Campbell thought, man, Baltimore could very well go down and score. We better try to keep the ball here.
You think they punt or they go for it, Vic?
I think it's a 50-50 proposition. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it. He surprised me several times already going for it.
I think that's the right call. Now, especially with Detroit, it's like your offense is really good, so trust them, blah, blah, blah. But the other thing is this. It's something that Detroit did last night that I do think you can do. Maybe not as effectively as them, but the concept of it you can do. Detroit was not moving the ball like that early in the game. They weren't. Their offensive line was getting beat up a little bit by Baltimore's defensive line. But they kept hammering the ball on the ground over and over and over again, despite little success, the amount of tackles that were happening in the backfield early in that game. And then eventually the dam broke, and they were picking up 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a pop on the ground towards the end of the game, and it's what closed it out. Moj, we looked it up. They had an 18-play scoring drive, 98 yards for a touchdown. 13 of those were runs. Like, they just kept hammering away, and the Broncos it's something they could do. They could do that with J.K. Dobbins. They could.
I was thinking about this too, though, Vic. Joe Buck said on more than one occasion, and the Lions can do this because they've got, a new fresh back to come in. You can go Gibbs to Montgomery, and any given week, one guy is going to have more than the other guy, but they use them both. I mean, if you can get to a point where you feel good enough about Harvey that you can Dobbins, Harvey, Harvey, Dobbins, Dobbins, Harvey, that would be absolutely ideal, and just keep punishing those guys. I just don't know that your head coach, I don't know if he wants to play the game that way or thinks he can play the game. He knows his personnel, Vic, better than us, but that would be ideal if you could just pound that rock and punish teams.
I was so impressed with the play calling of the Detroit Lions last night, who lost Ben Johnson, considered a Mensa, right? Yeah. Ben Johnson's gone. They replaced him with Johnny Morton. And I'm going to raise my hand here and make an admission, because if anything, we're very transparent on the show when it comes to our mistakes, and we own them. I'd like to think we do. But I got into a blender of mistakes last night that carried into this morning had I not checked my work. Every time they referenced Johnny Morton,
did you think it was the wide receiver?
I thought it was the SC receiver, Johnny Morton, who was calling the plays. And then, I remember Johnny Morton worked for the Broncos last year. Mm-hmm. Now, I never met Johnny Morton, but I always assumed last year it was the same Johnny Morton who was the receiver for the USC Trojans. I thought it was the black Johnny Morton, not the white Johnny Morton.
So wait, they said, and there's Johnny Morton in the booth, and you're like, who's the biker gang looking fella?
Yes, I was like, wait, what? When the Broncos lost Johnny Morton, and everybody said, wow, Johnny Morton calls a good game, because last year he worked as the Broncos passing game coordinator.
Yep.
All right? And now he is the offensive coordinator for the Lions. The entire time, I thought that was Johnny Morton, the former USC Trojan.
And had a stint as an MMA fighter, too. I don't know if you guys knew that about him.
I'll tell you what's weird is that the biker Johnny Morton also worked for USC.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his profile.
Yeah.
He's wearing a Trojan sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Did anybody else? Am I the only dumb one? Okay, just let me know, because I know many of you will come out and say, "Am I the only dummy who assumed the Johnny Morton of the Lions?" I thought it was the receiver.
Vic, what if I told you that Johnny Morton, that is the receiver, he just let himself go? just what it looks like when you get older.
Because they're about the same
That's
age.
funny.
They're about the same age.
Let me blow your mind. He also was a wide receiver.
I know.
It's pretty weird. He was John Morton. Johnny Morton was the pro wideout. John Morton was a wideout as well. He actually was on the Raiders and Packers practice squads, the Jags, and all that kind of thing, and blah, 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 blah. Played in the CFL a little bit, but I know it's kind of confusing.
Let me tell you something, by the way. Johnny Morton was a stud.
The
God,
receiver?
he was fun to watch.
He was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was so fun to watch.
Hey, what you asked?
Did you know? Hey, hold on a minute. Detroit's your team. Did
No,
you
I
know
know
that
it.
your offensive coordinator was white?
Yes. I'm the one that said a week before he was hired in Detroit that he's probably going to get hired. Go back and listen to the show.
Why
I
didn't
called
you
it.
tell me at that time that wasn't Johnny Morton, the receiver?
I didn't feel like I had to. We had you almost had a Jack Plummer situation, didn't you?
Yeah, almost. Oh,
This is
funny.
on you then. You had this inherent knowledge and didn't pass it on to me.
Yeah, I told you it was happening before it happened. Now, to again the Broncos.
But back to that running game, man. It would do our hearts so good to see the punishment late. And you know what? I think they will punish Cincinnati. I do. And then they're going to get punished at Philly and be 2-3. And that stinks. But then they get the Giants. They'll kill them.
Can I do a collective patting our show on the back
Please.
for stumbling across something today in the middle of this conversation we had earlier in the show? We kind of came to this conclusion, and I think it's very important to keep in mind because there was a decent portion of the press conference yesterday from Sean Payton that was revolved around not hitting the deep balls. So here's just a little bit of it.
There's the two deep throws, the flea flicker, and then the third down play. And I think you got to be careful you're not overcoaching a deep ball that's going off the fingertips. We've seen a couple in the last 2 weeks, and yet someone asked me about it yesterday, and I think that the more concerning problem would be is if we're leaving those balls inside where they're susceptible for an interception. So he's climbing the pocket. He's doing a great job. Both of those are third and long situations where there's, obviously a different type of pass rush, but that's not what's concerning to me this morning after the loss yesterday would be the deep ball misses. That wouldn't be what's on my mind.
He goes on for another question about it, saying when he drove in, it was like 50th on his list of concerns heading into his drive in today. And I'll say this. I don't believe that's true, number one, because you're missing on touchdowns. But number two, this is where I want the collective pat on the back for this show. We all kind of realized in the middle of talking about running the football, sticking with it, blah, blah, blah. The Broncos don't sustain drives. They are not capable of doing what Detroit did last night or what Baltimore did last night, which is a 12-play touchdown drive that goes 70 yards. It's not something that they're capable of because they're not good enough, and a single mistake will ruin any sort of momentum that they have. They need the explosive plays to be a good offense. And when you miss, go ahead, Vic.
They're not a slow drip offense.
No.
It's like your coffee maker, right? They're not a slow drip coffee maker. It's not the way they work. It's a squirt coffee maker. Squirt it all out there.
It's these two things out here. Remember, it's
Wait, what?
There's two type of coffee makers, Moshe. It's the squirters and the slow drip.
Never say that term again. Never say that term again.
You know the one.
Now, Vic, I called these two coffee makers. We have the really nice espresso one in here, but you need to do 8,000 things before it makes you a cup of coffee. Empty the drip tray, fill up the water, clean out this.
But those are the better.
this.
But those are the better coffees. Those are the ones. The slow drip coffees are the better ones. They're the most reliable. They're the best tasting. It's not a slow drip offense. It's an offense that relies on explosion. Yes.
It's the Keurig. You have a Keurig offense, okay? You need to put the cup in, hit the thing, and then here it comes. That's all that you have because you cannot sustain drives like these other teams can.
People have used the word matriculate for an awfully long time.
That was way back in the early 70s when who
I think it was probably Howard Cosell. He matriculated down
it was Len Dawson.
Was it Len Dawson?
Look it up. Let me look
Len Dawson.
Let me look up Len Dawson matriculate.
Well, do you know what matriculation means?
Yeah, you know what?
I'm matriculated through college.
Yeah, to formally enroll or be admitted as a student in a college, university, or other educational institution.
I do believe Howard Cosell.
There's nothing to do with football.
You are? Yes, it does. In fact, Len Dawson went on to matriculate the ball down the field well enough to earn himself the Super Bowl Most Valuable Player award. This was always Hank Stram is the one who first used it in reference to Len Dawson. I knew I had it right.
Many high school students aim to matriculate into a four-year college after graduation. She matriculated at the university in the fall, beginning her studies in the new semester. I think dude took liberties, man.
Do you guys remember when Pat Summerall called it the Broncos a team of squirters?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was a really, really fun weekend.
Would that get you fired?
All right, man. Listen. What do you
That's RJ Harvey's new nickname. Oh, there goes the squirter. Did you see him squirt through that hole?
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Actually, you know what? I said that about Harvey in the preseason, did I not?
All right, you guys shut up for a second. I'm going to read some of these texts. People defending me and my inability to discern Johnny Morton from Johnny Morton. Lodo Joe writes in, when they showed Johnny Morton on the broadcast, I thought they made a mistake, and I thought, that is not Johnny Morton, you morons on ESPN. Another guy writes in, I'm with you, Vic. I was making phone calls to ESPN letting them know they kept showing the wrong guy. And then another guy says, 2582, I'm with you. Johnny Morton actually lives in the Denver area.
Really?
The other Johnny. I
mean,
how crazy
Wait, wide
is
receiver
this?
Johnny?
Yes. If you're listening, Johnny Morton, the wide
Call
receiver.
the show.
303-504-0925. 303-504-0925. Right
Nelly,
now, Johnny.
Find his contact info. We must get him on the show. And say that he needs to go out. He needs to make a public address for all the people like Vic that were confused as hell last night watching Monday Night Football.
He needs to matriculate onto TV and settle this confusion.
You know what's so weird about the biker guy, Johnny Morton? In 2006, he was hired by the Saints as their passing game coordinator.
Why do you call him a biker guy?
Under Sean Payton? Because he looks like a biker guy. He looks like he should have his Harley parked out front. Does he not, Brett?
Yes.
He's a big old guy with a Fu Manchu and a bald head. What do you want from me?
During the 2001 season, comedian Jay Leno had been poking fun at the Lions' 0-12 record after the Lions won their first game of the season, 27-24, over the Vikings. Morton announced that he wanted Leno to kiss his ass.
Which Morton?
The receiver.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. That's funny.
Anyway.
All right. Oh, boy.
But point to this is, somehow in the middle of all of this nonsense that we're getting through, the Broncos can't move the ball on a 12-play drive. So it is a big deal when you miss deep shots because that's how you score touchdowns.
And again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Can we think about this, by the way?
Well, this goes back to where we expect the Broncos to be. You know, a playoff team, okay? Golly, you look at those two teams last night, Brett, and I'm thinking to myself, man, they're a whole step and a half behind those teams. And there's room to grow, there's room to be better, but my goodness gracious, those two teams last night, those are the best. I was telling the Bear a little bit about that. I'm like, this is a great game. These are two of the best in the league, and either one of these teams would smoke the Broncos right now.
Oh, this is perfect.
Hang on. Smoke a lot of teams.
This is going to crystallize the point that we've been trying to make about the Broncos offense and how they operate. And we'll get to it in just a second. Broadcasting from the Backus and Shanker studios, their passion is justice. Back after this.
See Dan Kaplan's Law over the week. They won that big case in Glenwood Springs with that outdoor amusement park. Well, Dan Kaplan's Law wins. The official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Kaplan's Law wins in record-setting ways. Serious firm for serious cases, accepting righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis. Listen, if you have a serious case on your hands and you need help, give Dan a call, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551. Offices across the Front Range. He can help you win your case. Or hit him up, dankapleslaw.com. They're not a slow drip offense.
No.
It's like your coffee maker, right? They're not a slow drip coffee maker. It's not the way they work. It's a squirt coffee maker. Squirt it all out there.
It's these two things out here. Remember, it's
Wait, what?
There's two type of coffee makers, Moshe. It's the squirters and the slow drip. And ill-advised and ill-timed, and it's not what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I gathered that much. It is true. So I was just going through and charting the touchdowns from this year so far. So the Broncos have 2, 4, 6, 7 touchdowns through 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
How many would you guess are 20 yards or more?
Okay, let me think about this for a second.
20-yard touchdown
The
plays.
4th and 2 touchdown was more than 20 yards. That's one.
The Sutton pass was
that's
more
the,
than
that's
20
the one I'm talking
yards.
about.
Easy.
That's one.
Yeah. The Dobbins run.
That was 18 yards, I believe.
Ah, crap.
You mean the screen
run?
Yeah, there's 4. There's 4 of these. Now it's a 19-yard run for J.K. Dobbins. Yeah. But even if you look on the drives, like for them to get there, it's like they need a big play in the middle of that too. That 19-yard run from Dobbins was a 41-yarder set that up before.
Right.
They need to have the pop plays. They have to. It's a necessity for the way this offense goes right now.
You know what's so cool though, Brett? Let me reiterate. What's so cool is that the pop plays are there.
That's what I'm getting at.
Why do you think they're there?
On Sunday they were there.
Why do you think they're there?
Because I don't think that the opposition thinks they can hit those.
Because the opposition starts creeping toward the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. But let me tell you something, Vic. The Chargers had broken coverage on multiple occasions. They screwed up.
Yeah.
And
How
the
do you
Broncos
break it on that 3rd and 11 to Sutton?
I don't know, but the Broncos, all he did was run a crossing route for crying out loud. He was wide open. And so it tells me that Peyton is doing something right.
It's a credit to Peyton. Do you know, guys, I'm sure you guys watch Red Zone every weekend. How many touchdowns do you see on Red Zone and there's not a guy within 10 yards of somebody else?
That doesn't happen too often.
It's rare. It happened 4 times in that game for the Broncos. 4 different times a guy was wide open like that.
Well, I mean, case in point, look at the last touchdown that the Chargers scored when Keenan Allen had a DB draped all over him. Who was it that was guarding him at the time? Who was covering?
It was great coverage.
Okay. I thought he was all over him. Not only that, Herbert had a dude at his legs and he had Benito at his arm. He had a sidewind a ball in there. It was an impossible play.
It really was. Go back and watch that play, guys. This microphone is Benito's helmet. They're running this way, across body, and he throws it. His body is past Benito's head, and he throws it on the opposite side, like past his ear. It's unbelievable.
It's so high end. It's so high end. It's not even funny. In fact, I go back and I've watched it on multiple occasions now going, I can't believe that this actually worked. And not only that, but Riley Moss had pretty damn good coverage, too, on Keenan Allen. And that ball was right in the breadbasket. I can't believe it worked, but it's also painful because, man, guys like that make those kind of plays, right? Sometimes great players just make great plays, and you've got to tip your cap to them.
Yeah.
That's what always infuriates me about, I can't believe the Avs gave up that goal. Yeah, well, Austin Matthews is pretty friggin' good.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I get to a piece of audio here from Prime was on the New Heights podcast, the Kelsey brothers thing. And he talked about that story that Shedeur told the Ravens not to take him. This was his perspective of it.
Have you been keeping up with Shedeur in Cleveland? What's the best piece of advice you've given him as a dad and as a coach?
Be patient and be ready. You got to be ready when it's time. But when it's time, you're going to know. And it's coming up.
There we go.
I got a prediction. I ain't telling nobody. I got a feeling when it's going to go down. But it's going to go down this year.
It's going to happen. All right.
Yeah, he's going to get a shot.
And that's all you can ask for as a player. All you can ask for is the opportunity, right?
Tell me this, because this was all over the media. Because I know y'all keep it.
Nelly, can you pick it up with about 50 seconds left? That's where I cut it off. What does that mean? When Deion says he's going to get a shot, I know when it's going to happen. What does that mean? Joe Flacco just won.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. He's currently 3rd string, right? I mean,
that's the other thing. If Flacco goes down, they go to Gabriel too, right?
You would assume, unless he knows something we don't. Why is everybody like? Why is this so dramatic? Why is it so cloak and dagger?
What are you talking about?
The whole, like, the way the Browns are handling this.
I don't know. It is weird. I think the Browns are like, they're doing that because they don't want to talk about it. They're like, I think if they could say what honestly was in their heads, it's like, why are you asking me about the third string quarterback?
We just knocked off the Packers, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about our third string quarterback. We just knocked off the Packers, a damn good team.
I was listening to somebody, Vic. Who was I listening to? And they intimated that after that the NFL sort of told the Browns to take Shador.
This is Dion continues. Go ahead, Nelly.
Tell me this, because this was all over the media, because I know y'all keep it a buck. That's why I love y'all to life.
Yes.
They made a big deal out of Philly called us on draft day.
Okay.
They didn't mention that. I just let a cat out of the bag.
I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
Who was it? Baltimore. And the Browns. And the Browns. They forget, I know, I played for Baltimore, so me and Ozzy are cool. So
There you go.
we understood that whole conversation, and he wanted to talk to Shador as well as he wanted to talk to me. And I put Shador on the phone, and Shador, I don't want to say how it went, but how in the world can somebody fault him for saying or thinking, why in the world would I go back up Lamar for 10 more years?
For sure.
I've never sat on the bench and said, well, I learned a lot today.
First of all, really over-laughing there.
Whoa.
I mean,
that was a
can I hear that again, Nelly?
That was
classic.
And by the way,
classic media over-laugh.
And I cut that laugh in half and faded it. They kept going.
Let me just hear it
editor's
again.
note.
I mean, that's classic media guys now, over-laugh. Now, here's what I don't – maybe it's like there's a disconnect with Dion and Shador in this sense. Do you guys remember the story when Dion was going through the draft process? There was a team that wanted to talk to him at, I don't know if it was the Combine, if they had the Combine then or whatever. And Dion said, I'm not talking to them. I'm going to be gone by the time that they pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he could say that because Dion was in
top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the New York Football Giants. I think they had the 10th pick, and he said, I'm not going to be around by then.
I think it's like a beggar's chooser situation for Shador. When you're in the 5th round, do you have the ability to say no to a team?
Tell you right now.
And secondly, what would be so bad about sitting behind Lamar for a couple of years and kind of learning how to do things?
Nothing,
right?
because the team's going to go, you know what, you got this guy sitting back there, and he's might be pretty damn good. Here comes from the 9173. Cincinnati needs a quarterback, big eyes. Well, the Browns won't trade him in division because if he comes back to bite them, that's going to be an absolute nightmare. But if I'm the New Orleans Saints, I'm calling Cleveland yesterday. I don't know why they're not doing that. I would take a chance on the kid big time.
I mean, it's possible, Mose, they just don't think he's that good.
Okay, fine.
I mean, that's we always kind of talk about like, hey,
you know who's not good? Spencer Rattler is not good.
Well, I think they're going to go to Shuck before that.
Okay.
They drafted him in the 2nd round.
Oh,
Mose.
yeah.
You think they're giving up already?
I don't know, man. Patrick Mahomes spent his first season on the bench.
He did, behind Alex Smith. Look, man, here's my point. If I'm a team that's not settled,
we just got
Did
Johnny
you see
Morton's
that
number.
text? Yeah.
We just got Johnny Morton's number.
How?
Try and get him on the show.
Get him on the show. I want to know if he's calling the plays, if he dialed up that option, the goal line.
Can I finally say my thing now about Colorado Buffaloes football?
Yeah, go ahead.
The best part, Vic, about the Buffaloes win over Wyoming, and I'm going to be a real fan about this, and Brett's going to be PO'd.
Talking about Ralphie?
Boy, did Ralphie 7 run her ass off.
Did you see the two handlers take a dive?
Yes.
Did you see this?
Yeah. Hey, girl.
Huge, yeah.
Girl. Hey, girl. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of that angry Buffalo. She was pissed. And you know what? I love when a Buffalo runs angry and runs pissed. I love it. She was great.
Awesome.
She's way better than that friggin' throw rug that was there for a couple of years doing
Totally
nothing,
agree.
walking around eating grass.
That milker? Go back in the prairie and get milk.
Go make babies or whatever, man. Get out of here.
You know
Ralphie Seven is a runner.
Did you see the handlers?
Yeah, dude, that's the way it should be. Hats flying off, guys getting dumped down to the turf, getting rug burns. That's the way
awesome.
It should be.
That one girl did like a flip.
Yeah, the girl.
When it turned on she couldn't hold on.
Looks like Kerry Strug with a broken leg. That's the way it should be. That buffalo should be hard to contain. And she wanted to run, man. She ran with a purpose. She ran with attitude. She ran with,
That's my mascot.
That's my mascot.
Do you believe?
Yeah, what did Prime say about her?
There wasn't.
What's up, boss? You believe now?
Yes.
There wasn't an indifference to running, is what you're telling me.
Dude, all those apologists that made excuses for the other one.
Yeah.
Like, I would not. If there's one game where you refuse to run, you get one try and you're done.
Damn
you're out.
right.
You're out. You're meat.
I go to the games.
You don't get multiple chances at this.
I go to the games with our good
You're
buddy.
meat.
Yeah. Hey, barbecue at 6. BYOB.
Bring your own bison?
Yeah, absolutely. I go to the games with our good buddy Chris Fuselier, okay? And he was right there where Ralphie runs. And I'd get down in the front every time. And I'm like, come on, girl, just
You
today,
get a
please.
3-point stance. I remember that.
I'm like, yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Dude, do you remember pregame? Like,
dude, we
you'd
were
be
so
talking
pumped.
and socializing, but as soon as Ralphie got to the gate, everyone in the stadium stops.
And you know what she did? They opened the gate and she's like, F. And I'm like, you know what? I tried to sneak in a cattle prod on my own. She wouldn't do anything. This girl runs.
Okay, all right.
I would be right there at the front. Dude, Ralphie, I could reach out and touch her. I was so close. I was
it's
so
important.
excited.
It's important.
It's important.
It sets the tone for
You're
a
damn
game.
right it does.
I mean, how you going to beat BYU when your freaking mascot just trots out there, eats a little grass, fake AstroTurf, and walks around?
Yeah.
What is that?
Takes a squirt, eats a
Is it
nacho.
new Ralphie? Is that the correct term?
Ralphie 7.
Ralphie 7. That's it? That's Ralphie 7 ran tonight, right? I think a couple times. Then I heard, is it a he or she? Because I don't, it's a she. All of them she's? Yes. Okay, so I need to know that kind of stuff, okay. So she, I heard she was energetic. She started out well and finished strong, unlike us.
Now help me out on my.
What are we doing?
Help me out on my animal stuff. Why are they she's?
Because the he's, dude, you can't. Well, in order to make him more actual, if you had a full-blown bull with all of his parts, he'd be incredibly difficult to contain.
And
let's go.
Male buffaloes
way-
are also a lot bigger and just tougher to contain.
And so,
All right, can everybody stop for just a second? Can I
pipe
acknowledge
down
one thing?
Mr. Corn on the cob. We're talking about real college mascots over here.
Can I just say one thing? Dion's enthusiasm about the animal matched mine in that answer. He's like, what is it?
Well, then
She? Yeah, I heard
Well,
she
then-
ran.
Then I've got
Heard
enough.
she ran.
I've got enough for all of us, then, dude, because it's a big deal.
No, let me
dude.
tell you
with
something.
Moser
Let
on
me tell you
this.
something. We walked in here Monday before the show started. It's like 6:58, and there was something. It was like, Moser, did you catch the Buffs game? And I said, of course. And he said, she ran, bro. It's the first thing he said to me, and I'm like, I'm trying to imagine, like, if you're in Athens, Georgia, and somebody goes, you catch that Dogs game last night? And it's like, yeah, and they go, Uga took a dump on the sideline. If it's the first thing that's mentioned out of their mouths.
I got news for you. That game took place a few days ago. My lasting memory of that game will not be any of the plays.
No,
will not be
it'll
Kane
be-
Salter,
it'll be
will not
Ralphie
be any of that crap.
7 ran.
My memory of that game will be those two handlers face planning when Ralphie made the turn back toward the truck.
And she
it was
ain't
awesome.
even full grown, bro.
Can I hear Dion again?
She's got a way to go.
Can I hear Dion again, please?
She started out well and finished strong, unlike us.
He's right about that.
It says here the males are 2,000 pounds and 6 feet tall.
How are you on the text line?
I got ways. So I'm asking this.
You're supposed to be banned.
I'm asking this.
Hey, Coach Prime, Brett Kane, Altitude Sports Radio. Do you feel the animal got your team fired up for the game today? Is that something?
Well, if it's not such a big deal, why even go there? If you're going to mock it like you are, why even have one? If you're going to play that game, why even bother?
It's something. It's about something.
The most impassioned Moser was today about any topic was 6 minutes on the animal today. That's all I'm saying.
Let me explain
just
to you,
because
Brett.
your mascot up where you lived was a stalk of corn.
Yeah,
it's not mine.
Some idiot Herbie
somebody
in a
threw a
stupid
bunch
hat.
of corn and hey, let's get fired up, boys.
Yeah, it's just he's dumb. Big styrofoam hat like friggin' Norm Macdonald on SNL. Let me explain something to you, Brett. It's about tradition. It's about carrying on. It's valuable to the university, and she ran her butt off. I'm so proud that they did this, that they didn't go full on, well, it's okay. She just don't like to run. Their whole press release was dumb. It should have been, this bee doesn't want to run. We got a bee who will run like crazy. And we're going to get her out there against Wyoming. Boom.
Ralphie 7 ran tonight, right? I
Damn
think a
right
couple
she
times.
did. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Now Moser's throw. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't. She's mean, man. She's
Yeah,
got
I know.
attitude.
Yes,
I
I
love
know.
it.
Yeah, it's great. Lucky number 7. Like after this. I'm being accused of so many different things. Moser just, you know what Moser just said to me?
What?
He said, you know what the problem is? I love animals and you hate them. And I was like, no, I hate animals.
Hey, let me defend my boy because there are a lot of texts and Twitch feeds and all that stuff coming in saying, and this one, Brett's constant hate on everything CU's embarrassing, send him back to the. Listen, we joke around with him. He's not even a Nebraska fan. He's a K-State fan.
You guys know this, right?
We know. I mean, it's
no. Just to be
funny
clear
to me.
I want you guys to answer this honestly. If CU and Nebraska play each other, who do I pull for?
You're probably right in between.
No, I root for CU.
Okay, fine.
I would. I want CU to be good.
But the point is,
all right, I'm going to give him a foul.
We play it up because he's from there, but it's all just in. Calm down. See, this was CU fans get a little too sensitive. Calm down.
And also,
So good.
It's not me for the record. I know the Ralphie thing is it's a fun little deal. I don't hate everything CU. I'm the one that I'm asking CU to be more than what you guys are talking about. I want more out of them. I have higher expectations because I think they should be better. That's the opposite of hating. I want them to be better than that. Go ahead, Moj. What are you going to be foul with me about now? Now what?
Nothing. I'm not going there.
What?
There's a certain member of your family who's a Bighorn.
My wife loves the Huskers. Yeah.
No. So what?
So what?
What's the big deal, Moj? What's your you have a problem. You have a hate problem. You know, like
you better
I
be
tweeted
careful.
over
By the way, you keep talking about my wife that way. She listens to this show.
All I said
Moj,
was she's a Corn fan.
I tweeted something over the weekend that I had a buddy of mine, a Notre Dame friend, say, "Yeah, why would you say that?" I go, "Because I believe it." I said, "I despise the University of Miami, the U, with all my might, but I think it's great that Miami is back again on the football throne. I love the fact that they're ranked top 10. It's great for college football for Miami to be great."
Vic, that's an excellent point.
Even though I hate Miami. I hate them, but it's okay to respect those you dislike. Sports hate. Remember, we're talking about sports hate,
yes,
boys.
Yes, we are. It would be so much better for college football, in my opinion, if the Corn were good. I have fond memories of the Corn being awesome and me just seething.
They seem better this year.
They do. Well, I mean, yeah, Michigan got them, and Michigan ain't that great this year. Michigan
close
got
game.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the Corn fans were actually very, very optimistic that they could win that thing, but now you're not quite there yet. Just not quite there yet. That's okay. It would be better for college football overall if the Corn were good. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, whatever. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Can I ask you one thing real quick?
Sure.
About CSU, because we haven't spent really any time talking about their loss to UTSA. Now, they were a 4.5-point dog going into that game. They have already announced they're making the switch. Brousseau's going to take over at quarterback. And I think if you watch that game, you see why. There was a spark when he went in the game offensively. What needs to happen for them moving forward here? Because here becomes the problem, guys. They're in a similar situation to where I think CU is, where I don't know how many more games are going to be favored. They have one coming up this weekend. I believe it's 4.5 points are favored against Wazoo. Have you guys seen Washington State this year? They're terrible. Like, god-awful. If you struggle to get a win there, then where are the win's going to come? And then what happens moving forward?
But college football drives me crazy, though, Vic, because Wazoo beat the snot out of San Diego State. And San Diego State beat the snot out of Cal, who beat the snot out of Minnesota. I don't know. It's going round and round.
Bro,
round and round.
Washington State lost to North Texas 59-10.
Yeah, dude. Washington State's awful. But if you look at Jay Norvell's progression, all right, all you can ask for is progression, advancement. All right. First season at CSU 3-9. Second season 5-7. Last season, remember, they started off slowly. They lost at home to CU. Remember that game? And
Yep.
they were like, oh, geez, what's going on?
And they got hot.
They got hot. They finished 6-1 in the conference, and they go to a bowl game. They go to the Arizona Bowl. That was an 8-5 successful season. Well, right now they're 1-2. They're 1-2, and they lost a game they should, I know they weren't favored to beat UTSA, but if you're losing at home to the likes of UTSA, that doesn't bode well. You got to get hot again.
In Northern Colorado.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, they should be.
And
they should be 0-3.
Right.
They really should be.
That's the problem. And look, I set a high standard. I fully admit I set a higher standard for coaches heading into year 3 and year 4 because that's virtually a full recruiting cycle. It kind of gives you a glimpse of this is what it's going to be. And in year 4, especially year 4, you should be at a point where you're saying this team is competing for a conference championship. That's what it should be. Kind of no matter where you're at, outside of your maybe your Vandy's in the SEC or something, but in general, that should be where you're at.
You could sense Jay understands that this is that moment because he makes the quarterback change this week.
Yeah.
Some suggested he should have done it a week earlier. We'll see. We'll see if it works.
Yeah. But it's just, it's that sort of thing where it's like, this is where you got to make a jump. By the way, I'm pretty consistent about this. The Broncos can't have a fallback year. Sean Payton's in year 3. You just made the playoffs last year. I need to see at least a playoff berth again and hopefully a win in the postseason. Take another incremental step. And that's why this late game stuff, not being able to finish, is a giant concern that I have.
Well, talking to Adam Schefter, he's so absolutely correct. We said it. He reiterated it. Man, those losses like that one at the Colts, and the Chargers, say what you will, Chargers are a good team, and maybe the Colts are really good. And you're right there in their buildings on both of them, and you should have won both. They're going to come back to haunt you so bad.
Let me ask you a question.
They're just going to come back to haunt you big time. But the schedule does ease up after the dang Eagles. The schedule, Vic, will start to ease. The Cowboys stink. The Giants stink. The Texans are awful. Take your chances against the Raiders at home. I mean, to me, that's 4 straight wins right there. So now you're a 4-3 football team. You're a 5-3 football team. 6.
I have an observation I'd like to bring here to the jury. And it's the beauty of sports, because every fan base has room to criticize. Every fan base has room to celebrate. Who's more frustrated right now? The Broncos fan base at 1-2? Or the Baltimore Ravens fan base at 1-2? Because the Baltimore Ravens, now before you answer that, let me specify. The Ravens fan base is criticizing the same things. Oh, they can't finish. I mean, they can't make the big plays late. I mean, these fumbles, are you kidding me? I mean, you got a big lead in Buffalo. You got to finish. This team doesn't know how to finish. What did we say about the Broncos over the weekend? They can't finish.
Yeah.
Now, different stakes, different competitive floors and ceilings here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a damn good offense over there.
Baltimore knows they're good. You're kind of hoping the Broncos are good.
It's the same criticism.
Yes.
Sure, but you also lost at home to Buffalo in the game of the year to open up the season.
I understand.
41-40.
But do you think Ravens fans just went home and said, oh, well.
No, but listen, their division is way easier.
But I'm just saying, what do you think talk radio in Baltimore was the next day? Why can't we finish against this team?
Agreed.
Why do we continue to make mistakes late? We had the game won. We're fumbling the game away. What do you think they said last night?
Agreed.
We had an early lead. What's going on?
I think for the Ravens, it's easy to say, hey, look, it's early in the season. We're a very good team. It's early in the year. We're going to make it up. We're still going to win the division. The Browns ain't doing nothing.
But those
the Bengals
questions
are dead.
will persist, though,
Pittsburgh
because
is up and down.
in the key games, they can't finish.
Agreed. So when you talk about postseason, yeah.
Hold on. I'll tell you who Baltimore is right now. Baltimore's the Avs fan base right now. Year after year, we have a great team. We have high expectations. We should be competing for a championship. But then when they lose in the postseason, you start to get really nervous.
That's not even that's a close comparison, but this Avs team won a championship. That Baltimore bunch, that gang with that quarterback, they haven't won a championship.
True. Good point. But they're feeling that like, hey man, it's time that stuff, late game situations, we're the closers and not the team getting closed on.
Yeah, Detroit's really good, dude. Buffalo's really good, dude.
No, Baltimore was favored to win that game. I get it. We all know Detroit's good. We all get it. So's LA. So the Chargers. They're really good. You played in LA.
Just to go back to it, Moj. Dallas was really good too. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Agreed.
Because you think your team is above that. They're better than that. Now, when the Broncos lost to the Bills last year, was anybody pissed on Monday? Was anybody pissed about 31-7? Was that the playoff game score? Nobody was mad. It was kind of like, yeah, saw that one coming. But you're just happy that you got to that point. Now you have raised the bar a little bit higher. And that's just, when we headed into this season, the Broncos' big thing was, can you slam the door on a good team? They're 0 for 2 in that category so far. You know what I mean? And that's concerning moving forward. Sean Payton was actually asked about this. We'll get to the audio in just a second because DMac asked him about it yesterday. He had an answer for it. I don't know if it quite applies the same as he referenced something from last year, but we'll get to that in just a second. Before we get to a break, though, Nelly has a really good impression of Todd Bowles that he does. And Nelly, I would like to repeat this answer from Todd Bowles. He was asked about who is he with here? Payne Durham? Is that the guy that they're talking about?
Yes, he's a tight end.
Had his arm around Payne Durham on the sideline of the game on Sunday. He said this.
What did Payne Durham say to you when you wrapped his arm around you in the tunnel?
Me and Payne have a relationship not many people know about, and we're secret lovers.
Nelly, go for it.
Well, that's what we do in the Dome. We keep our relationship secret from everybody.
He sounds like a character on King of the Hill, does he
does.
not?
Todd Bowles, yeah.
Yeah.
So Vic, I don't know if you were here or not when Nelly was doing his Todd Bowles about the gal who asked him about going to Detroit and the weather and the cold and all that. He's like, what does he say, Nelly?
He goes, we're going to be inside. You know they got a dome, right?
Yeah, if I shut my eyes, I wouldn't know if that's really Bowles or
100%.
Nelly.
100%.
We get to the audio of Sean Payton again. The finishing question. What does he think? Is that a problem or not? We get to it next. All right, so DMac asked the question to Sean Payton yesterday, finishing games. Is that a concern of his? Here's Sean Payton.
Coach, on that point, then big picture, philosophically, what do you think is the biggest difference between teams that you've been with that can finish and teams that do struggle to finish games?
I don't think I can ever recall being with a team that always finished and didn't struggle to, in other words, that it's a journey here. And so when the season's over with, let's look at this team and say, hey, can they finish? And, we'll be able to point to week 2 and 3. We weren't able to, but I think of certain teams that I've been a part of or coached. And I think that the corrections and the improvement, any good team really, and even last year, we had a wild card playoff team. There's a stretch where you begin to win games and you play better. And that's what's due for this team. That's what has to happen for this team. That's what has to be on our horizon.
There is one difference, as he keeps referencing last year. What do you think I'm going to say, Moj?
I have no idea.
They didn't play when they went on that run. Those weren't playoff teams they were beating.
That's true.
And this schedule ain't like last year.
But they're going to be. Can I make a prediction right now?
Okay.
Yeah, because they've been so damn spot on.
Big time win. Before they get to the Chiefs game at home on November 16th, this will be a 7-3 football team.
Really?
Heard it here first.
Are you sure?
I'm so positive, Vinny. They're going to beat the snot out of the Bengals on Monday night. Short week they've got to go to Philly. They're going to lose that early game on the East Coast against the defending champs.
Never know.
They're going to beat the snot out of the Jets. They're going to beat the snot out of the Giants. They're going to beat the snot out of the Cowboys.
A lot of assumptions here.
They're going to beat the snot out of the Texans in Houston.
A lot of assumptions.
They'll win at home against the Raiders, and then they get the Chiefs at home.
That
It'll be
is
a 7-3 team.
dub.
7-3.
I'm not playing this game.
Well, you don't have to play it. I already know
I'm not going to do it. I'm not
Okay.
playing
Well, I'm just telling you.
Okay, hang on, Rush. Just to, I guess, play along with this.
You going to play these little games?
What about 3 weeks into this season gives you the full confidence that they're going to smoke
Because
anybody?
I think that Bo Nix is going to come around in the deep balls. I think that, again, things are going to come together overall. I look at Monday Night Football on a national scale, every eyeball upon the Denver Broncos at home. This is a get-right game against Cincinnati. And they can play as well as they want to against Philly. You ain't going to win that game, okay? That's my prediction. But they're better than the Jets. They're better than the Giants. They're better than the Cowboys. All those three teams at home. Better than all those. Period. End of story.
Giants aren't going to have Russell Wilson by then.
That'll be Jackson Dart. Giants still stink.
Yeah, I don't play these forecast games because so many things can change, and it's week by week. And this week you've got Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm telling you.
But you didn't. There wasn't really a tangible thing that you're pointing to in all of this.
No, it's all gut. Correct.
Yeah.
It's all gut.
Because their one win this year is
Crap.
Tennessee.
Yeah. It was a crap win.
And they look bad.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
What did Sean Payton say in the middle of all that? He said, "Look, that's the expectation is that we made the playoffs last year. Play it one more time or play something. Whatever he said. Look, the expectation is, and what we need to be is a team that goes, back to better than that, better than a playoff team.
You guys, it's funny to me. You guys seem to think that they're going to blow out Cincinnati. I just take a win.
What's this you guys stuff?
Yeah, it's Moser. It's Moser's mentality. It's the same thing we do every year with Moser. He just has these wild, blow them out Monday night. How do you know? What if it's a one-score game? I'll take a one-score win. I don't care.
My whole thing,
The
though, Moj,
Cincinnati Bengals are so different without Joe Burrow. It's not even calculable. It's not even calculable.
It's just the through 3 weeks, the Broncos haven't proven that they're head and shoulders above really anyone.
But they will on
far.
Monday night.
I hope so. And I would feel the same way going to Philly everybody, the assumption's already Philly's going to blow them out. You never know. What if
I don't think Philly's going to blow them out.
What if the same Broncos team that unleashed whatever the hell we saw in Tampa last year, what if they bring that to Philly? Never know.
That would be absolutely awesome.
There's like the extra stuff that goes into a game that you quasi think about, but not really. Short week, East Coast, 11 a.m. hurts.
Well, they've always heard. Historically, Denver's had a horrible record. 11 a.m. East Coast games have been
Plus, it's coming off a Monday night game the week before, though.
Yeah, every team west of Nebraska faces that going to the East Coast on the early game, short week. The odds are already stacked against you, and you're also playing the defending champions who are
and it's
pretty
also a
damn good football team. And by the way, Philadelphia hasn't put it all together yet either.
Yeah,
they should have lost to the Rams. We all know that.
You talk about a tough stretch. Monday night, short week, go to Philly, and then you got to go to London, which ain't,
I know.
Everything changes now.
And then
you ain't going to the Greenbrier,
but then
you go to London.
You come back to London with no bye week playing against the Giants.
That's a 4-game stretch.
No problem.
Where your schedule is topsy-turvy.
So what?
Okay. Like Moser, again, this is when
I don't have any empirical data. Yeah, I'm not going to my stat sheets and saying, oh, hey, listen. No, it's just the way I feel about it. It's how I feel how good the Broncos are. Because, again, they're a couple of hit passes away from being 3-0, bro. They're a couple of plays away from being 3-0. That's who I think the Broncos truly are, especially when they start to get into these teams that are in trouble. Cincinnati's 2-1, they're already in trouble. The Jets, Justin Fields, what's with his cabeza? I don't know. They're already in trouble. The Giants, you heard Adam Schefter say it yesterday. For all intents and purposes, their season is over at 0-3.
Rather than
the Cowboys' defense looks like a bunch of Vic Lombardis out there.
Moser, Moser likes to focus on the opposition. I focus on your team. Worry about your team. Worry about the fact that the number I gave you guys earlier has not changed, and it's sitting there just staring right at you. According to Warren Sharp, the worst team in the National Football League, worst team on first and second downs. Those are the downs where you got to make some space so you can get a manageable third down. The worst team in the league, the Denver Broncos.
May I capitulate to you a little bit, Vic, please?
Worry about yourself.
Tuesday morning, 1 week from today, Tuesday morning, if the Denver Broncos are still the last team in the league in that category, I will eat my hat.
Okay.
If they are still that bad, I will take back everything I'm saying about this. And if they lose to Cincinnati, I'll be devastated because that throws off everything that I think I believe about this team.
Early down success on offense. The number one team in the NFL, early down success. This should be no surprise. It's the team that's punted the fewest amount of time so far this year.
Agreed.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Early down success is where it needs to be for this team. I completely agree.
Here are the other teams' top 5. Now, some of these teams, their record's not that great. Dallas Cowboys are number 2. Their defense is
horrible.
Number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. You've seen that machine. Number 4, San Francisco, playing 2 different quarterbacks. Number 4, best team on first and second down. And number 5, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, well, we witnessed a lot of that last night.
So you want to prevent going 2 for 13 on third downs. You want to fix that. You want to make your quarterback shine. You want to make him glisten. Fix yourself on first and second down.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, who the Broncos will see in 4 weeks, a month, 5 weeks, whatever it is. Did you hear Rex Ryan speak about them yesterday morning on First Take? Because it was a thing of beauty. Nelly, I'm going to try to send it to you. I love this kind of stuff. You know what? I think we need more of just tell it like it is.
More Rex?
Yeah, I mean, but his teeth, I can't do his teeth.
Yeah, the brights.
Look, I need to lighten up for the season, Kay. But dude,
you got your handy
your
cell
mouse?
phone.
My mouse, yeah, it's at home.
So how does that work? You just put the gel in there and pop it in your mouth?
HIPAA.
Does it burn? The gums?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Because if I use that stuff that you're supposed to, it hurts. It hurts too much. Can't take it.
All right, Nelly, make sure you got that, please.
Okay, as Nelly gets that ready, can I play another piece of audio? You
Sure.
want to hear the most Jim Harbaugh thing that Jim Harbaugh's ever said?
100%.
Now, Justin Herbert, I mean, he was at I've always kind of the things that can happen in a game individually for a player, which would be, we won, and my team won, and I was one of the reasons we won.